Backseat of my Jeep, let's swing an episode. You look fly tonight, I just thought I'd let you know. Backseat of my Jeep, let's swing an episode. Keep it on the hush, not even your friends will know. Backseat of my Jeep, let's swing an episode. You look fly tonight, I just thought I'd let you know. Backseat of my Jeep, let's swing an episode. Keep it on the hush, not even your friends will know. Hil. All my friends call me Hil Holla, I will call you beautiful, but I'd rather call you tomorrow. She just laughed. She said my name is Amanda. I go to school at Brown and I live out in Atlanta. I met her at the Alpha party. Her and her friends came through looking for the after party. I hit my guy Drew. I said I got some joints with us, we tryna slide through. He said come by at 20. I said alright, cool. Sorry I couldn't bring it to you sooner. Gotta clear the rumors. You can't dwell in the past when you working on the future. Friends call me Hil, pops call me Junior. Niggas say they in the building. Introduce you to your super shots to those that couldn't make it. Over and underrated, the over and understated. Those that love it or hate it, I say welcome. I don't mention them, but don't forget them. See my pops said some other shit, but now I forget. So back to the lecture at hand. The difference between
life's all about timing.
Life's all about timing.
Aye, 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 aye.
Aye, 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 aye.
Young king from the island.
Young king from the island.
Aye, 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 aye.
Killer.
Frozen drinks with the lineman. When I'm with you, it's a vacation. Cell phone on silent.
Cell phone on silent.
Me and you just vibing.
Me and you just vibing.
Aye, 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 aye. Me and you just vibing. I love them all different sizes, but you the one can't deny it.
You the one can't deny it.
401, where she come from? South side I resided. Dollar signs in my eyelids.
Dollar signs in my eyelids.
Stay fly, no stylist. Stay high, no pilot. Beachside when the tide's in.
Beachside when the tide's in.
That is for when you're mad, but I love you better when you smile.
Yeah. Yo, Happy New Year. Growing Pains is back. Well, we never left, so we never did leave. You know, it just feels like it's been so much has happened in the past week. It just feels like it's been a minute. But we here, we back. What's up, man? What's going on, fellas? Alex?
Good, we good.
David, Bub, what's going on, man?
We good, you know.
We got guests, man. Yo, we starting the new year hot.
Very hot.
Hot, man.
Very hot.
Yo, we got Kim. And we got Hil Holla in the building. What's up, man? What's going on, guys?
What's up?
I just want to just make it real clear. Like, I didn't have favoritism towards one artist more than the other. Yeah. I just couldn't get your music. Yeah. I got all his music on here. Yeah. So it was easier to transform, well, whatever the hell the word is, to put his music on here. Yeah. Yours was more difficult because I wanted to get Crime Town. Because that's my favorite joint. And then I wanted to get Swerving on there too, and then have two more of his joints. But I was like, damn, I don't want to seem like I'm favoring one artist more than the other. So
you held it down. Supposed to favor the light skin one.
Here goes Bub now.
Starting his wars.
Here goes Bub.
Gentlemen, what up? Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, man. Thanks for doing this, man. Thanks for doing this.
Appreciate you having me, man. For real.
Yeah. So, you know, it's
what up, Barry?
We focus on Growing Pains here. I mean, well, that's not what we focus on, but that's the name of the podcast. What are some of y'all growing pains that y'all gone through as just artists in general? Whether
you want to take this first, Kim?
Sure. Some growing pains. I've been doing it for a lot of years. So,
how long have you been doing it? How long have you?
I want to say I've been rapping for about. We gotta say at least 2006, as far as putting out a mixtape, and that might even be before. That's definitely before Blockstar. GBM was from the beginning, so it wasn't before that. But I guess just the process of like finding your sound and like who you are,
absolutely,
you know, sonically. Because when I started rapping, I sounded like Lloyd Banks, you know, with a bunch of.
That's funny that you're gonna. I was gonna ask both of y'all if y'all had somebody ever said, "Yo, you sound like this dude," but
all the time.
Yeah, so you know, finding that sound. That's what I would say is a good growing pain. Just going through that journey of, you know, that first influence to whatever you become. You know, what for me is like 12, 13 years later. So,
how long do you think it took you to find that particular sound? the sound that made you comfortable or the sound that made you want to continue to build on it?
To be honest, probably 2000 and the end of 2017, the end of 16 going into 17, or 17 going into 18, something like that. Like, I've had a lot of different sounds, a lot of different vibes, but where I could really listen to the songs back and be like, man, this is special, you know, like that's the last 2 years. So all those other years sounded like Banks, sounded like Drake, sounded like all these different artists. You know, you got to go through those processes. Like
Absolutely.
Your favorite athlete, you know, you might play like Jordan until you find your style, and then it's like, all right, I ain't Jordan because I ain't jumping from the free throw line. So what caters to my style, you know? So finding what catered to my style and going from there.
Yeah, I think as an artist, you're always growing and looking for the next thing. So there's never really an end game. You always, you know, adding new wrinkles. It's just you kind of. I always look at everything as in a sports context. You know, where you might have an off season. You come through, you add a fadeaway. Next time you add the hook shot. Next time you add the runner. Like there's different things you can add that kind of help you find what you're looking for. Especially when you're trying to be an artist and create a full body of work. It's never always going to be the same. So there's always something that you have to work on and you have to kind of look towards in order to get better.
How long have you been doing this?
I mean, I've been able to rap like since forever. Like it's definitely been, about 10, 15 years. But taking it seriously, I think 2013 was like the first time I put like a project out with my man Skino, the Hard Liquor EP. That was the first time I was really like, yo, I could really do something with this shit. So that was, I can cuss on here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just making sure I want to
shit,
disrespect nobody's joint. But like that was the first time I was really like, yo, I might be able to really do something with this. So that's what I would say, 2013.
It's a classic too, Hard Liquor. Skino, Hil Holla.
Shout out to Skino.
Shout out Skino.
Hot stuffers. But Cam, I know, obviously I've known you for a long time now, and just I think for Kaba and Alex, your musical background.
Mm-hmm.
If you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that as I was answering the how long I've been rapping question, because I started rapping like 10, 12 years ago, but R&B has been in the bloodline forever. I've been singing since I was a kid. My uncles were in an R&B gospel group, so growing up, that's what I saw, that's what I heard. Michael Kevin, he used to rock this had to be 95, Jodeci, Party to the After Party, whatever that album is, the third album, and that was in the back of my mind growing up, just classic R&B stuff. So I've been singing forever, since 93, 94, Fox Point Elementary School. So the music has been in me since birth. Rapping is more of an influence of my environment. You go outside of hip hop, we are hip hop. So once I found that's where the rapping, that's where it came in. But singing and just being involved, live music as I'm doing now, that's kind of been around forever for me.
So that's
you want to pursue that at all?
Well, that's what I do.
Not like, I mean, like pursue it, like have like an R&B album. You know what I'm saying?
So it's great that you're saying that.
Got some news for you.
Yeah. So for the past year and a half, I've been doing these live R&B nights. We started at Aurora, which is the old Black Rep, and they ended up closing. But we started with the live band. Shout out to Big Walt, Joel, and now Seth on the bass, and even Mike Rollins on the sax. But I did that monthly throughout the whole last year. It's just R&B nights with the live band, letting different vocalists come through and sing, and just try to create an environment where that type of music could live, because the club's going to be the club. They're going to have to turn up. The old heads, they're going to do what they do. They're going to play the hip-hop in their cars. The old people going to play the soul, the R&B. But in my generation, there wasn't really anybody touching that R&B space. So, but if you go to like in Atlanta, R&B is in everything. The biggest trap rappers also do R&B music. You hear Gucci Mane on the record with Bruno Mars this year. You hear Quavo on songs with Justin Bieber. It's just all cross, and I think it's the same in L.A. too. I just think East Coast, we just got that hard hip hop, movement that we're just accustomed to. But, it's a new era, and I think there's so many different influences that I grew up listening to that it was really impossible for me to just rap. So I think once I started doing the R&B nights and really diving into my own production, making my own beats, playing the keys, doing different things, that allowed me to push myself as an artist and really find that space to make what is an R&B album or will be coming out very soon.
That's
So
dope. That's dope.
I'm excited for people to hear it. Yeah.
That's dope, man. That's dope, man. Yo, Hil, so when you coming out with your R&B joint, though?
You know what I'm saying? Shower sessions. Late fall 2013.
Shower sessions are the best album in the world, dog.
Late 2023, we're going to get it crack. I got the Head and Shoulders deal in place. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be nuts.
Have you dropped anything since outside of Providence?
No, I haven't.
Okay, all right. So I just wanted to make sure I was doing my homework correctly. But I was like, I couldn't find anything. I was like, wait a minute.
I get yelled at all the time for it. So, I haven't dropped anything since then.
Is that just from lack of motivation, or is it just you're just letting that?
Not really. More of I like, doing shit when I'm ready. I'm never really on anybody else's timetable. Okay. So I'm like, yo, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it 100%. And it's going to be like this. Because when I put it out, it's out forever. So I don't want to put something out and be like, damn, I could have did this. I could have did that. So I've really just been working on records until I'm like really happy and satisfied with it. So I'm just sitting on a lot of joints. And I've been doing other stuff besides music that's kind of keeping me afloat. Like just
I see both of you guys doing other stuff outside of
so that. I mean, it's just a piece of the puzzle. That's how I really look at it. Like I can do music forever. You know what I mean?
I think like where hip hop is at, you can always. I think we was talking about it on one of the other podcasts, but like how there's a space to do other things to maintain your relevancy. Like it don't have to just be music all the time.
Yeah, I mean that's really what's gonna make you pop. Yeah, is being able to do multiple things, because a lot of times, especially in this day and age, if you just doing strictly just music, you're not gonna make no money. Because I mean, I'm in the music business. I'm not, I don't want to be popular. I'm fine with that. I'd rather
you have that successful. Very calm demeanor. I see it already. Like you don't strike me as someone who wants to be out there. Like
I'm. That's for some people. To do music and be popular and stuff like that. But I want to take care of my family and build a legacy. And that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm not in a rush for anything.
Yep.
For sure. I think. I don't know. I was just thinking. Once we got to that Jay-Z era where we were looking at the Forbes list and the majority of his income wasn't coming from music anymore. I think that kind of changed the game in the perspective of what the record labels wanted from the artists, right? So at this point, the labels is like, well, if Jay-Z's going to get all this money from the record label, then he's going to put it into this fashion and go make $80 million from fashion. Then we need a piece of that fashion too. So what it did was it changed how they sign the young people, and they want to sign artists that are going to give everything up. But the ones that are smart are the ones that build their own merch, make their own music, put together their own tours. And then once you get to that level where you can collaborate with a company, whether it's a record label or it's a professional sports team or like Coca-Cola or something, then you can own your brand and everything you're doing. And then you can still collaborate with them. But if you go from the beginning, they're going to want everything from you.
Like how many years you seen Puff at the top or near the top of the Forbes? And how many albums we got? You know what I'm saying? So that just tells you, like, you know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily just straight music. Like you got to be able to diversify your shit.
Yeah.
If you have those skills, everybody doesn't have those skills. Some people are just artists in the studio, and those are the people that I see take more to fame, than actually, investing in themselves and building something.
That gives you more visibility too, not only in the music business but across different facets, right? If you're different faceted, if you got different abilities, it gives you more visibility. You get more customers and more listeners.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
You gotta work smarter, not harder, man.
You gravitate. Can't remember who was talking about that, but that you gravitate to a whole different genre of individuals and people. Like when you start doing other stuff. Right? So
John Hope.
Yeah,
it was John Hope's podcast. Yep.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like there might not be people that like hip hop music.
Yeah,
but they like. If you're putting out a clothing line, or if you're doing the R&B nights, Cam's doing R&B nights. I can do that. I'm gonna pull up to that, see what that's about.
For sure.
Cause I think it's more of getting people to invest in you as the person, and not necessarily just the music itself. So you can fuck with Hil Holla, like the designer, or Hil Holla, just on some sports shit, or like it doesn't necessarily have to just be I heard his album, so now I fuck with him. Well, you gotta wait till I put out music for you to interact with me. There's different ways that you and I can engage with each other, and I can still, do my other shit on the side.
Do you think that stems from like just social media today, just being able to being multifaceted, just because you have all these social outlets now?
I think it's made it easier. I mean, I think there's more means of communication, but stuff like that's been around forever. Like, you've always seen hip hop artists doing ads, LL Cool J doing the Gap. Like, that's always been a thing, but it's just people haven't done it on their own. So instead of LL Cool J doing the Gap, you got Jay-Z doing Rockaware. Like, nah, that's me. You know what I'm saying? Or Ye doing Yeezy, that's me. As opposed to Kanye for Adidas. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of just morphed into something a little bit bigger, as opposed to being on a smaller scale and you getting a piece of the pie.
Yeah. Facts. What inspires y'all? What inspires y'all as artists to make music? You know what I'm saying? To come out and damn, I gotta go to the studio now that I heard that, or now that I know that, or it doesn't even have to be music related, right? Like, what inspires you? What inspires you to make the music that y'all do?
You wanna?
Yeah, I don't know. I always just start with life and experiences I go through, experiences my friends and family go through. Just seeing just different emotions and feelings. The music that I'm making now is a little more just how, like, feeling rather than very in-depth storytelling and lyrics. It's just, you hear the sound, you feel the tone of my voice, and then you can feel the emotion. So those are life things that happen in your life, whether it's going to the club and then the DJ, I'm there, DJ Diamond's tearing it up with a reggae set, and then I go to the studio and I'm like, yo, I got to do some drums like this, or, whatever it is, or it's a conversation with a girl, and it turns into something, and then, that becomes a record. So I would just say life outside of, like, you said inspired by, right? Yeah, inspired by life.
Yeah, I had to say the same thing. I mean, I've grown up with music my whole life, so I've always been just chasing that feeling of that first time. Like, I heard, like, an album that I like. Like, I got some rap tapes for Christmas. I got House of Pain, De La Soul, and, like, Tribe Called Quest for Christmas. And, like, I sat with them, played them forever. So I've always been chasing that feeling. It was crazy. Like, Everlast was, like, my first favorite rapper. And then when I found out he was white, I was like, oh, shit. I was like, yo, that's nuts, man.
I went to one of their shows.
Yeah. I know he's in the back because they wild out.
Shit was nuts.
The Everlast shows?
Yeah. The House of Pain. Like,
the House of Pain.
Oh, the House of Pain.
Yeah.
Like, the first time I ever seen a mosh pit.
Yeah.
Yo, it was what was it? I think it was at might have been at Roger Williams University, I'm trying to think. But, like, this is a while ago. And I was in the back. We was actually up. Like, looking down, it was like,
he's like, yo, they're really wilding.
Yeah.
No problem though. Like, people came
to wild out. Yeah.
It's almost like
around.
like when I talk about the bounce house, like the mosh pits that happen at the bounce house. Like, nah, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, that one song, it's going down. It's going down, and everybody else just plays their part. They just back up. It's like, I'm not gonna get into that. Whatever.
But you can remember being like 20, being in your 20s. You see a mosh pit? Nah, you ain't trying to, like, catch one?
Nah.
I'm definitely
because you might catch one.
I know, but you ain't trying to, like, real quick just jump in one.
Because then it turns into a real mosh pit.
Step on somebody's shoes, it's over.
Yeah.
Like, fuck that.
Especially if you came with, like, you know what I mean? You coming fresh. Word.
Nah, you ain't going fresh to one of those shows, dog. You ain't going fresh to one of those shows.
But if you did, you wasn't going to do that. Not no mosh pit.
Yeah.
Yo, that Crime Town reminded me of Rick Ross. Yo, dog, I love that. I love that track. I love that track. That's all.
It's a good one.
I tell him that's my favorite record that he's done.
That's my favorite record on that.
Regularly.
When I was listening to him, I was like, damn, this reminds me like I can see Rick Ross picking this beat and going that same route the same way that you did, because that shit was. What was the inspiration behind that one?
Well, the Crime Town is the name of a podcast called Crime Town USA. And dope podcast. The whole first season of it covered the history of the Providence Mafia. So I'm my mother's Italian. She grew up on Federal Hill. So that's half of my heritage, half of my story is that Italian Mafia. So I was literally that Italian restaurant with her like 2 days ago, and she's just telling me stories of Raymond Patriarca and the mob bosses, and then she was outside, and that morning they went and killed the dude, and then they went into the funeral and gave the wife the money, and like just breaking down all the morals and principles of the old days in those situations. And my mother's like a 73-year-old Italian woman, so for her to have these stories from like the 50s and the 60s is like a crazy perspective. So that's something that I've been interested in for a while. So hearing the podcast, it kind of just put it into like a storytelling position where now it's in episodes and I could hear it so clear and vivid. It just made me want to continue to rap about a lot of stuff that I was rapping about. And then shout out to M2, Mike from MLA. He produced the beat. He sent over the track. And I don't know, it just felt right, man. And I already had a bunch of Skino beats. Skino kills it with the soul sample. So when I heard that one, it just kind of fit right at home, man. And I kind of already had the lyrics, in my mind, kind of putting them together. So it just came out, man. Very organic track. I'm still working on a video too. That's definitely coming out. Definitely. 2019, we will see a Crime Town video.
I know that video is gonna be crazy.
Yeah, epic, man.
Timing's out though.
Timing is out.
Timing sounds completely different, man.
No, for sure.
Completely different than your last project.
No,
it sounds like you're going into a new, like a new realm.
Space.
Yeah, new space. Absolutely.
For sure. I think. I don't know. To me, when I listen to the music, it's the same thing. Like I still hear the soul samples. I still hear like similar. The way that I'm making the music is exactly the same. Outside of the fact that I'm not writing anything down anymore, but like the process, very similar to Jigga. More. I would say more like a Future Wayne type of thing. Because the way Jay puts words together, man, I can't even.
Y'all don't think that Jay-Z writes his rhymes?
No.
You think that he really?
I got a theory. I got a theory.
You think that that's what he does?
Yeah.
Why?
I've done it before.
Okay.
So it's possible. It's definitely possible.
Okay. All right.
Hove's not freestyling. He's putting it together in his mind.
He just has a great memory. That's what.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Like people think it's just I'm gonna sit in there and just spit it off the top.
Yeah.
It's 4 bars here, spit it,
Memory.
go back in, 4 bars in. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or sometimes like even on like not to cut you off, but on like What's Free, like a lot of that's like some like stream of consciousness type shit where he's just going off. So that's why it kind of sounds like he's in and out of the pocket is just coming out like that's what happens sometimes.
Yep.
All right.
No, that he definitely puts it together. His process is a lot different than the Future and the Wayne not writing, because the Future and Wayne not writing, even T.I., a lot of the Atlanta people, they're going like 1 or 2 lines at a time. So Wayne might give you 1 line and then do 3 lines, then do 2 lines, and then get a nice flow and do 8 lines and then do 2 lines.
When you say that, you mean like punching in?
Punching in.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas Hove is gonna repeat it in his head 1,000 times. He's gonna be at the studio session all night working on this 1 to 2 verses, and he's gonna repeat it in his mind over and over and over. Then when he gets to the booth, he's like, "Yo, I got it down, so I'm gonna rap it." So we're like, "Holy, he didn't write it down."
The one take Hove.
Yeah, because he's in the other room in the studio mastering it before he goes to the microphone. Whereas Wayne and Future, they're going to the microphone like, I don't know what I'm about to say, but when the music comes on, I'm just gonna lay something down, and that's where you get like the random ass lines, where they say outrageous shit. But
there's this one rapper that I don't believe ever wrote. I think he really freestyled. All of it is Snoop.
I mean,
I feel like Snoop freestyle.
Snoop was
even the first album?
Snoop
Not
also,
the first album. I'm talking about as he's gotten.
He also didn't write everything, so
he also was his own writer.
Yeah, I think Snoop's a legend. He's sharp with the pen. He has a legendary voice and presence. But I don't think anybody would put him in their top 5-10 lyricists.
Oh no, I wasn't. I was just saying because some of the stuff he says, like we was in a barbershop one day, we was listening to some song. It was mainly features. It wasn't really like whole songs. They were like, you don't write that down. And it wasn't like the line was hot. It wasn't like the 16 was crazy. It was just like, yeah, he freestyled that.
He's a high nigga, so I mean, like,
that's what I'm saying.
What you want him to do?
And he admitted to having some of his young boys write for him or whatever.
As he should, man.
Yeah.
He was in there writing for somebody when he got in there. So why not let people eat and let people get credits and get paid for writing?
What is your take on? Because we talked about it, like we know history, R&B, artists get songs written for them.
Mm-hmm.
And even in history,
And why is
rap
that?
artists,
And why is that cool?
why is it?
If
Is it not cool for hip hop, or is it cool for rap artists?
I mean, depends on. I mean, I can see both sides. I mean, when you look at R&B, music in general, it's a collaborative thing. Like, it's impossible for you to do everything by yourself. You wouldn't be able to record, mix and master, and do all that stuff by yourself. So, you know, writing is not far-fetched for you to be able to not do that by yourself. You might be able to sing your ass off, but you just can't formulate the words that you want to sing. So you can have all the melodies in the world, you just don't know what's supposed to go there. So, I mean, I understand it. I personally wouldn't do it just because, you know, I feel like my pen's nice enough. I don't need nobody write for me. So I can see it, but I would never do it. You know, maybe a hook. Somebody could definitely write a hook.
That was my next one to you. What if somebody said, "Yo,
versus all me"? Like, that's not.
Yeah, because like when we used to be in the studio with Cole, and we used to be like, nah, like we wouldn't, not words, but like, yo, rap it this way.
Yeah, that's
because the beats like this, you can't rap the same on everything.
And the thing is, a lot that happens more often than you think.
Yeah,
where because if you hearing your homies listen to it, like, yo, this don't sound right, say it like this. That's not somebody writing it for you. You know, that's coaching.
Well,
that's coaching.
Yeah, and they're the listener, right? At the end of the day,
Phil Jackson tell Mike, yo, come off the screen and, you know, hit the fadeaway right there. Like, Phil didn't take that shot, but it's coaching.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, but if we strip back the curtains, our favorite rappers would be exposed. So I think it's better.
A lot more than you expect, too.
Yeah, I think it's better if we just accept that great music is a collaborative process. Great art is a collaborative process. And I think that's just what music is. All of our favorite artists, like Hov, we know Hov didn't write the hook to Lucifer on Black Album because we saw Kanye rapping the lyrics in the Fade to Black. So it's like, what do you take from that? Maybe what if he came up with the first line or two? Now are we saying Hov's not one of the greatest writers of all time? That's not fair. So I think we just gotta accept it's a collaborative process. Drake just got caught in the middle of some crossfire, and maybe what he was doing may have been different with letting people really put full references like he does with R&B, because he's an R&B artist as well. So he's used to that type of space. And he came in helping write for Wayne. So if Wayne is one of the greatest and he's writing for him, why would he not think that's okay? If he's in there writing for Kanye, writing for Dre, writing for the GOATs, why wouldn't it be okay
for him to do it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And for artists like that, like they have way too much music. Right, to even pin them, like people are just writing for you and creating all. Like, nah, there's too much music out there from these particular artists. For the catalog is huge.
But I mean, it's more of like people saying like he's not involved in the process at all.
Yeah,
like,
that's
like
not. Come on.
Goes to the booth and they hand him a paper. It's like, that's not what's going down.
And I think people think like that. Like, yo, he wrote this whole joint where he wasn't even in the building.
Yeah. But it's different though. I will say, not to cut you off, but I will say it's different when we're talking about MCs and like top 5 lyricists, and like what Pusha T is doing is a different genre than what Drake's doing. So it's like what he's capable. Drake can't do what Push did on Daytona, and Push can't do what Drake does over here. So I think we do have to respect it as they're somewhat in the same league, but they're playing different positions and they have different goals. So it's like, I don't know. Those are different artists, but I think we do got to respect those people for putting in that work, because that's a different skill set to be able to write things that challenge the mind. Like I heard Nas say once, hip hop is the form we can get the most knowledge because you're putting so many lyrics. If you listen to pop songs, jazz songs, R&B songs, every other genre, you don't have that many words. So you can really say like a crazy, crazy message, a crazy story, and really get to people through hip hop, where you can't do that in a lot of other genres. And a lot of Drake's genres, he's trying to stay out of the way of the beat, like let you sing and dance, and then he just fits in, to help with the melody, which is what you need sometimes, but you can't compare that to Nas or Pusha T.
Yeah, like I never heard for myself anyway, like a pop or a rock song that was thought provoking. Like hip hop have you thinking, depending on the artist, but like what have you like, yo, did he just rewind that?
Yeah.
Yo, he really just, or they really said that.
Well, I mean, definitely not recently, but it's far and in between now. But I think back in the day it was a little more, like TLC Waterfalls. Like you break that record down, that's a crazy ass song.
Definitely some real stuff.
So like there's records that have had that, but I think as of late that narrative has kind of changed.
You mean for R&B or for
just music in general?
Music
In general. Like Kendrick is like a very rare person where he doesn't have to do a quote unquote single, and it's still a popular record. You know what I'm saying?
One of the very few.
Like you put out a song called King Kunta, like that's mad crazy.
That's a good point too, because I was thinking about that the other day. Do you think it's because of the times? Like back in the day, it was very important as like a rapper, right? Like I remember wanting to be a rapper and looking up at like Nas and I think Lost Boys was out when I first picked up the pen or whatever. But I remember thinking like the message that I want to get across is the message that I'm seeing, right? Like you hear the whole thing about being the CNN of the hood, right? Like that's the message that you want to kind of get across. Yeah. Now that's no longer the message, right? Because now it's like I'm an individual. Look what I got. I'm on social media. That's that almost seems to be the message, right? Like, and I'm talking pop. I'm generalizing, right? I'm not talking.
Well, no, I agree to an extent, but what I'll say is, I still feel like the message is there. I just feel like the delivery's changed. So there's 808s now, where like you hear a Future record or a Young Thug record, and they're still saying the same shit, but there's either a melody behind it or it's a B-side on the mixtape. Like it's not the one that's getting played in the club. You know what I'm saying? So we're not dancing to Love, Peace, and Happiness in the club. We're dancing to Trap Niggas or Fez Did a Sweep or some shit like that. So it's still real messages within those songs. It's just either the message isn't as big or it's just not that main record off that project. But I still think it's there.
Yeah, it's definitely
like I've had talks with people and I'm like, yo, he's a conscious rapper. I was like, well, I mean, if you look at conscious, like it's just being aware of your surroundings. I feel like all the trap rappers are conscious rappers. They talk about their homies getting killed and they traumatized. That's real stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's just they're not empower the black man. This and that. I think that's what people think. That's the only thing that's conscious music, and it's
the
not
backpack conscious.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
You're talking about like Black Lives Matter.
Yeah,
it ain't on that type of wave.
Yeah, like that's conscious as well. But I still feel like all the other trap artists and all these different artists, they still have their method or their message that they're trying to get across as well.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like dialect too, like the way that they're rapping and putting their melodies together. Sometimes you don't want to hear it or believe that they're going that in depth with what they're saying because of how they're saying it. I think we just want to hear the boom bap conscious. There is a new conscious. Like Future has records like Blood, Sweat, Tears. The Migos have records like What's the Price? Like all those great albums that they're putting together, they're not afraid to play the game. They're not afraid to say, yo, here's your 5 singles. Let's get the club bumping. And then if you want to listen to the album. And that, to me, that's the whole Hov been doing that forever, man. He's just been giving us straight singles. But you get the track 9, 10, 11 on every Hov album. There's something that's so deep that you're like, wow. Like imagine if he did a whole album like this, and then that's where you get it 444.
Like Kingdom Come, where he did Beach Chair. Like it's on the bottom, so like people show me what you got in Kingdom Come and Lost Ones. You get sucked in by those tracks.
Yeah, you're like, let me check this out. Then you like,
Chair, you're like, damn. I mean, if you're into that type of music,
Minority
you're like,
Report,
that
all of
record's
that.
crazy. But like, you're like, that don't sound like these other
ones,
singles.
Right.
That track's whack.
You Must Love Me. What's that? Is that Kelly Price on the hook? Like that joint is so deep. But, that's in a time where he was consciously trying to go a little more commercial, but he still had records on that Where I'm From that are like, nah, this is going to be, for this.
And I mean, he even said it himself. He's like, truthfully, I want to rhyme like Common Sense. I did 5 mil. I ain't been rhyming like Common Sense.
Facts.
Like that's it right there. You know what I mean?
Nah, that's real.
No, that's true.
It's definitely real.
So he doesn't want to be famous. He wants to just feed his family. What's your goal?
No. I didn't say I don't want to be famous. That's just not the primary goal. I know. Once I do my shit, it's gonna come with it. But I'm not.
I'm gonna get there.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yo,
I didn't say you didn't want the bag.
You can stop me in the mall. I'm cool with that.
You know what I mean?
And this is the world famous Hil Holla here. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta.
Already there.
You gotta.
What Angie say? She said you got.
Because we knew you were coming on. We knew Campbell was coming on, so we knew you were coming on. And my girl follows the page or whatever. And then we put Hil on. I think it was like either Sunday or Monday. And I wake up or whatever in the morning. She's like, "You got Cam on now? You got Hil Holla? You got famous people on your podcast?" So you're already famous, dog. You're already famous. It's all right.
Yeah, man. Speaking to the existence.
Yeah. No, it's real. I don't know. I think most people I surround myself with, that's not their goals. You know what I'm saying? I think I don't know. I think we just grew up in a time where that wasn't it, man. It was before. Like, we remember when you had to rap on the corner to people. Like, if you was dope, then somebody was telling you was dope, and that was enough. You know, that's obviously not enough to take care of your family when you grow up. But when you're learning what hip hop is and you're learning what art is, that's where we got the notoriety. You know, it's from actually being out there. Now kids are going straight to the internet, and they view Instagram fame as it, because that is their corner. You know what I'm saying? It's not that. They only want to do that, is that's what the only thing that they know. Yep. You know, so I don't know. I just think my generation, for the most part, and then the people that I surround myself with, don't specifically look at music as a way to be famous, but as rather a way to, be creative and then involve all the art you're doing, all the businesses you're doing. So I wouldn't say fame is my goal, but I will say that the youth in the city that's coming up right now, that they didn't have, they wasn't going online when there wasn't an Instagram. They wasn't never, you know what I'm saying? I remember when Twitter came out, so it's like, for them, that is their corner, and they are lit, and they are doing everything that they should be doing in order to, get that respect and that love.
I mean, in the same regard, when I, talking about the work, me and my staff talk about the work that we're doing now, like dealing with the young boys and violence. Can't go to the block and find them no more. The blocks are shut down. But if you go on any of their social media sites,
it's lit.
That's the block.
Yeah, they wild out.
Like, the beefs are happening online. Yeah. Like, they ain't happening on the. I mean, the shootings are happening on the street, but like the beefs. Mm-hmm. The arguments are starting online. These ain't face-to-face arguments. And now you got the, you can go on Facebook Live, you can call somebody in. So, like, all that's happening online. None of that happens face-to-face in the streets. None of it.
It's a different game, different day and age. So, this is just a different medium. Same tactics. But no, to answer the question, no, fame is not. It's not the goal. But notoriety and recognition for the art, and then being able to take care of yourself, and then hopefully your family through that. I think that's the goal. Yeah.
Now there's multiple things I wanted to get into, as far as, you see online, like, people, I ain't fuck with no local artists, like this whole local artist type thing and feel. But also you had, like, for me, when I see you used to, and then I think about when I was growing up, you had the masterminds, you had D Smooth, you had guys that were out here, that were rapping, that were nice. Mm-hmm. You had Just Chill, you had Be Proud, like, you had all these guys that were nice, and I never looked at them like, yo, you're a local artist, like, you're nice. Yeah. Like, it ain't because you're from Providence, right, but you're nice. Mm-hmm. Like, I can almost put you up there with some of the artists that were famous artists that had records, and I could say some of those guys, like, Be Proud was nicer than a lot of people that was out that had industry deals. Yep. Right. Like where do you see y'all fit in that picture? Because I feel like now it's taking a shift. Like, Providence is taking a shift on the music scene, as not guys. I'm looking at guys like D Gomes, King OSF, like, those guys got a crazy buzz right now. Killing it. And I don't see them as, like, local artists. I see them as rap artists that are killing it right now.
For sure.
Like, that are hot, like, literally. You know what I'm saying? And do those individuals come to you guys?
Those are homies. Camp with them all the time.
Yeah. I mean, D Gomes, OSF, they both young legends. They're doing their thing, killing it. And they've been doing it. OSF's been doing it for some years now. Yeah. And he's only 19. So for him to be 4 or 5 years. I actually met
him when he was like 13, 14 years old. And Byron, Little Santana, was younger than that, because that's his little brother.
Yep.
And then he did the Try Me joint. He did. He actually popped off. He did the Dave's Loaf joint off. Over. He was like 12.
Didn't he have the straps in the video?
Yeah.
When he was like 12.
He was like 12. Yeah. Did the Try Me. I ain't gonna. I mean, from where I sit, from where I sit as a guy who deals with gang violence and street violence and stuff like that. When I first saw the video, I was like, this little nigga's bugging. But then I had to like, you know, when I was by myself, I'm like, try me.
Smart kids though, very smart, and they're figuring out how to grow and outgrow, you know, that stuff as they get deeper into the music and start to care more about your life as you get older and you have more to lose. So I do see them. I didn't know them then, so but I do know now. Every time I see OSF, you know, he's a very, very smart. That was one of the first things that you told me when we first spoke about him. You're a very, very smart kid, man. So him applying it to the music, it's no surprise that he's successful at that, you know. But those guys are definitely around and, you know, try to have a lot of conversations. I feel like one of the things that always bugged me, you know, and I'm glad we can talk about it here, is they had a documentary and it was like Rhode Island Almost Dope or something like that. You know, it was the OGs and they were kind of documenting their history and then it just stopped. And it was like, all right, you know, we didn't go where we wanted to go, so Rhode Island didn't make it. And so it's like, it was like, no, you guys were supposed to look to what was next and help uplift and push that, you know, and I feel like that's what we're doing for the next generation. You know what I'm saying? Like me and D can talk on the phone for hours. We can be in the studio night after night and I'll just sit there and help him with his project. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't even got to talk about my project. We work on, you know, just organizing things. And I feel like that was a misstep in a generation. Now where the internet helps is you can stay connected with everybody. Back then, you don't know who the 13-year-old kid in his room that's nice, that's rapping. So you just see what's in front of you. So if you're not seeing that, you don't know what's happening. In this generation, we can see, you know, the younger kids that are doing it. Their video just pops up on my Facebook, on my Instagram. Somebody's reposting it. So whether I know them or not, I feel connected and I feel like I have a part of that because I never quit and I always lend a helping hand and try to mentor as many people as possible. So I feel like that is a difference in this day and age. I'm 29, OSF is 19. We're 10 years apart. So some would say, well, that's a different generation. You can't do that. You go to Atlanta, Future's 34. Sway Lee's like 22, 23. That's normal for them. Gucci Mane's 38, 40. He's on Black Beatles with Sway Lee and Jimmy. Yeah. He's not old on that record. He's an artist. He's a creative. So I think the game is changing, and I think that's connecting the dots between some of the older people and some of the younger people. You know, so that's one thing that I feel like, you know, is changing the game, man. I feel like we have a lot to do with that, just being open-minded, not quitting, you know, and sticking to our shit, because you could have went and did something else. I could have been went and did something else, but this is my dream. This has nothing to do with anybody else. This is the path that I want to follow, and I want to help people that want to follow their path and want to stick to what they want to do, you know. That's interesting that you say that. I was having a conversation with my son yesterday about that exact thing, how beautiful it is nowadays that we have that the genre is so broad, right? Like I mean, I grew up in a Spanish household, but I can't imagine our my father jamming to hip hop music. You know what I'm saying? At the time when I was growing up, you know what I mean? Whereas right now I'm putting my son onto music and he's putting me onto music. You know what I'm saying? Which is dope because how else am I supposed to relate to what he's listening to? You know what I'm saying? Exactly. I can't really fuck with or relate to Juice WRLD, but if he shows me something that has a crazy melody, I can relate to melodies. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, Juice WRLD sampled X, Y, Z. Exactly. Who I listen to, so that's a connection right there. So
it's pretty. That's
like you would have to be
fact, man.
Like you would have to having this conversation all the time. Like I feel like you would have to just be really ignorant, right, to hear certain melodies and beats and be like,
whack.
Yeah, that's not it.
Like you ain't gonna bop yet. Nah.
Only thing that I would say is sometimes if the content is too outrageous, then I can't even receive the music. You know what I'm saying? But as long as the content's somewhere in line, which most artists are, you know what I'm saying? The Kodak Blacks, the 21 Savages, they're all growing and getting more mature through their music. That's all I really ask. There's some people, I'm not going to drop any names, but they talk crazy on songs for the sake of attention. And I don't care how good your melody is. I'm not rocking with that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, 21 said he wished he was rapping in the
90s. Yeah. You'd have found a way to survive, man. A true creative, a true artist is gonna strive, and no matter what the environment is, man.
But I think to your point, I think with music there needs to be lessons, there needs to be history taught, and I always say my son is like his variety of music is very broad. Word. Like he'll have the 21
as it should be.
Yeah, he'll have the 21 on. He'll have the Kodak on. He'll come in the room and it's like, Dad, you hear that new Kodak? I'm like, nah. And he's like, yo, what are you doing? Why you ain't? I'm like, but then I'm going in the room like, yo, the Meek came out. Yo, you know what I mean? And certain artists, Kevin Gates came out. And he's like, yeah, I heard that already. Word. But then go in his room, he's playing like when Michael Jackson died, like cried. I'm like, what?
You have no idea who he is.
Yo.
What? But he was listening to the music, like
music though.
So he'll like Kanye, like he goes back into the old Kanye because he, you know, everybody gets caught up in the new Kanye, but he goes back to the old Kanye, to Jay, to Nas, like, and I'm like, how can but being around me and listening to that type of music because that was the music I was playing as he was coming up.
It kind of shapes them. You know what I'm saying? So he kind of has that foundation, and then he can kind of branch out and find the stuff that he likes on his own. Yeah. But just to touch back on the whole local artist thing, like I've always hated the negative connotation of, oh, you're a local artist, because it's like, yo, we're all from the same place. So, you know, wherever I go, like, I'm representing you. So you should have that same energy wherever you go, you know. I've always seen people, you know, I don't fuck with local artists, blah, blah, blah. They get a little buzz somewhere. And I was like, yeah, that's the homie, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, why somebody got to leave the pop? You know, I've never liked that, but I think it's kind of changed now where, you know, a lot of the music has gotten a lot better. You know, it was kind of far in between, but I feel like across the board, like, the music has gotten a lot better. The videos have gotten a lot better. Shouts out to Cuban Boy. You know what I'm saying? But, everything across the board has gotten better, and, you know, it's kind of been able to compete on an industry level. So that's what makes it easier to support.
I think it has to do with the standards changing.
Yeah,
right. 100%. So like, if you wasn't a signed artist, you wasn't.
But not even that. You just didn't have access to certain shit, or you didn't know.
Well, I'm talking about as far as from a fan perspective. Like, I need you, like you said, I need you to pop first. I need you to get a deal. I'm talking about back like in the 90s. I need you to get a deal 100%. Where the standard, that ain't the standard anymore. No, now and you can kind of pop on your own.
You got good videos. Yeah, the music's good. You know what I'm saying?
And I think to your point, like, outside Providence being your last project, without having these label deals, you're not rushed to put out music. And so when you're signed to a label, it's like you got to put this many albums out, and it's like rush projects, not your best work.
And you can hear it in a lot of music where it's like, oh, this project wasn't as good as the last one. Well, my nigga, I had my whole life to make my first project. I had 6 months to make the second one. So that's what happens where that turnover time isn't really what it's supposed to be.
No, for sure. And I don't know. The local scene, like you said, the talent has gotten better. The production, the resources have gotten better. And people are really believing. You know, people didn't believe back in the day. I remember statements, people used to tell me it was cliche that I rapped about Providence. I'm like, it doesn't even make sense. If I go anywhere.
You want to rap about New York? Like, I don't know anything about New York.
If I go anywhere in the world, I'm going to be the only one rapping about Providence. It's going to make them take an interest in me, you know, that is going to be a positive, you know. But some people are so afraid of being themselves. They're afraid of that question. Where's Rhode Island? I don't know what that is. Well, there's a lot of places people don't know what that is, but that's your opportunity to engage with them and let them get a look inside of it. That's one of the reasons I did the Timer video like that. The goal was like, yo, I want to show people that, you know, there's all these dope people. There's these beautiful women. There's this good weather. There's these super dope DJs, all these talented artists. There's probably like 10 different artists that are in that video, you know, that are all doing dope things, that have videos, have projects, that are in LA, in Rhode Island, in New York, down south, all these different spaces. So I feel like that should be a good thing if somebody's asking, yo, where you from? Like, it's like, yo, you holding down where you're from. Like, why would you run from that?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, gentlemen, that what y'all thought about someone's, what their responsibility is if, let's say, pop or they blow. What's their responsibility for a local person to? Are they supposed to rep? Like, what are they supposed to do when they get outside of that realm? Like, am I supposed to be like?
All I'm gonna say is don't embarrass us. That's the only thing to do. Is just don't embarrass us and yourself. Like, you don't gotta like, if you wasn't outside, don't act like you was outside. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a phone call away out here.
You ain't never bust a gun in your
It's a phone call away out here. So you know, just be true and honest to yourself, and you know, put out the best product you could put out. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, because like me, our community Cam relationship is different. Like, Cam knows everybody. I don't know a few people, but I'm to myself. So like, but I'm gonna make sure like I rep, and I'm not gonna embarrass nobody. I'm not gonna step on nobody's toes. I'm gonna make sure I say all the right things and put shit in a positive light. So it kind of when you say like rep and stuff like that, I feel like there's different ways to do it, as opposed to the person, not opposed, but the type of person you are. kind of depends on how you're gonna rap.
100%. And I think you just got to be who you are, and I think that's what artists are doing. When Hil's making Outside Providence, like that's a reference from being from Pawtucket. It's like that's true to him. When D Gomes is making True Colors, he's really trying to tap into who he is as a person and not what people view him as on Instagram and in the videos. You know what I'm saying? Like when OSF's doing 23-1, he's talking about his experience. You know, when he got locked up, and he's been locked up a few times. But not only that experience, but what it does to your family. You know, what you miss when you're gone, and then that feeling when you get out and you realize, yo, I never want to go through that again. You know, so I feel like these are like honest emotions that like hopefully when we all get to the next level, we can continue to tell these talk about our journeys and our personal experiences in the way that, you know, that we've been doing, because it's been very honest. I think that's what makes a difference, because it doesn't matter. I don't care what somebody's rapping about, but you can tell if they're being honest, if they really went through it. Is that a true emotion, or did you hear that in a song? Did you see that in a movie, and now you're just copying it and saying it because you think it sounds cool? So as long as you're being yourself, go do what you do, man. You know, we're gonna hold it down for Providence. That I think that's one of the things that there's gonna be some people that are super famous, but everybody around me is gonna hold it down. So it really don't matter who goes far out and does the whole other wild stuff. Like just because one dude is just because Tekashi's from New York don't mean Jay-Z ain't still from New York. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to have both sides. We got to have some knuckleheads that's going to go do some dumb stuff for the sake of whatever they're doing. And then there's going to be people that you really respect and are really pillars. They're pillars in the community, man. So, I mean, that's what I try to strive, and I try to, you know, put that knowledge to the younger people so they could just continue to grow in the natural way that they're growing.
It's just funny hearing you say it to the younger people, like, you're not young your damn self. That's just funny to me that you keep saying that.
It's true, but I'm
10 years in on some music shit, so you know, as opposed to somebody who's 2 years in, that's a different conversation.
It's a different thing. The experience, the amount of shows that I've been able to do, the amount of writing, the amount of production, even now trying to DJ and do different things, like the experiences that I got in music are really priceless, and I think that's what allows me to really collaborate with the younger generation, because I'm not in a battle with being the most lit with them. I want them to be the most lit, because that's going to allow me to do what I do even more. When I do my R&B night, it's that more impactful, because we have these clubs where we popping bottles and the girls are smoking hookah, but then you can go over here and we got these other parties in the back where, you know, people's just chilling, there's no hookah, and now people's actually dancing and singing, and you got people that don't go to the club, they just stay in the studio and make songs. Like, there's all these different environments for people to be a part of. So for me to see all of that, I feel like that allows me to just, you know, collaborate with them and be confident and comfortable in my space, and then help them be the best in their space.
I think remember when when they had that little news segment about, right, because they was trying to say that all the music that was going on was violent, right? It was causing violence.
Oh yeah.
And then me and Tenny did the interview.
Yep.
I think they had a Key Money song, Pain.
Yep, I remember that.
They had I can't remember the dude's name, but he was rapping on the State House steps in the back of the State House. He was one of the videos up there. No,
it was a violent. It had to be rapping about some street stuff.
But like he seen me right at a basketball court. I was like, "Yo, you said I was in a gang. I ain't in no gang." I said, "Did you watch the interview?" Because I didn't say nothing about anybody being in a gang. And the references I was making with the Key Money song, Pain, like he's really to your point, like he's really talking about losing his best friend and the pain that it's causing. And this is why I drink, and this is why I smoke. And I was like, I don't think people take enough time to listen to lyrics. Because you see Key Money, you heard his name before, so you label him as a gang member, so now
you have one idea of him.
So now you just figure that this song, it is about, unfortunately, his boy getting killed due to some street stuff, but still, he's still a human being at the end of the day, and it's painful. And so even me being, well, if Cam's considered a OG, I don't know what I'm considered. But like, I mean, like for me, I feel like I have a responsibility because of guys before me. They're not really connected to this particular population I am on a day-to-day basis. I mean, it kind of revolves around my work. Like, if I don't understand the music of today, then I can't understand the young people and why, if they are involved in street violence, why are they involved in street violence? And so I think there is a responsibility to somebody like myself, to somebody like Cam, to somebody like you to kind of, I can't say you can always influence, but give them the knowledge and the perspective that you can make good music talking about the stuff that you're going through. If you live it, talk about it. I mean, that's what the music is there for. And don't let nobody hold you back from that. Right. Of course, there's gonna be people out there that say some wild shit. Like you're like,
that's life.
But it's part. But it happens. You got those artists. But I think what was big of you, Cam, is when the shooting happened at the event. And that you came out was like, nah, like this ain't who I am. This ain't what I represent. Yeah,
we gotta control our narratives.
I think that's the responsibility to people that have that influence to go to that next level and say, look, no, everything ain't about street beef. Every person, especially every person of color, ain't about the street life and want to especially because I'm a rapper, you're not gonna just put me in that box and think I think they picked a song of yours.
Yeah, it was in the city. It was actually about nonviolence.
I'm in the video.
She couldn't decipher the lyrics. Yeah.
I'm in the video.
Who made the video?
I don't know who produced the video.
You're
talking about who until shooting happened at?
Fuck that nigga.
Yeah. All right, so basically,
not the video. You're talking about the news. He's talking about the news joint. The news joint.
Well, I don't know, but basically there was an event that I threw with my partners, and somebody outside of the event ended up getting shot, and they correlated it with the event.
They wasn't even in the party.
They didn't even go in the party. So, but you know, as a journalist, especially a journalist not of this community, you're gonna write the narrative that you see fit in order for your newspaper to make sense. And that's why podcasts like these are important, because we do have to write our own narrative. We got to tell our own story, because that's not their job anyway. You know, so I'm lucky that my father had some history in the city where it was like, yo, you don't know you's fucked up. You can't say that about him. You can say that about a bunch of people, but you can't say that about him. So that kind of flipped
say that
over.
About Hil, but
Nah, you can't say that about Hil. You can't say that about him.
My mom named Whole Weight.
That's facts. That's super facts.
Say nothing about me.
So a lot of those instances, they're like taking advantage of people not having the resources, not being in the space to be able to have their own voice and speak up and say something. So that was an opportunity for me to flip it on their head and make them put me on the front page. I didn't make them put me on the front page. We did a really dope article covering the short film that I did to the song that she thought was about violence. It was actually a story about a brother that was in the streets dealing with stuff, and then, you know, his issues spilled over into his little brother getting hurt. You know, that was Providence City of Lost Dreams. That was like 2013. And
that was that long ago?
That was that long ago.
Yeah, I need another debut, man. I'm a fast
runner.
runner.
You only get one debut.
True. But it was like that. To me, that was very important, because, you know, I ended up going to Projo, speaking with the writer, you know, and just really trying to explain to her like why people are mad and why what she's doing, you know, doesn't really make any sense. But from her perspective, she's like, listen, I don't know any of these people. I don't know anything about hip hop. I'm just writing a narrative. They're shooting me, the police report, and I'm just writing the story how I see fit, like a movie or like a TV show, like reality show. You know, it's like we're gonna take what we see in this report. We're gonna do the best to make it entertaining. It's just unfortunate because that comes at the cost of our community. She doesn't have to deal with that. Like I said, she doesn't know any of these people. She's not in these communities, so she's just writing from an entertainment standpoint. So I'm like, you know, we gotta change that narrative, and I feel like that's our job. That's our role. You know, to come on these podcasts and talk about the shit.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. What's that video from 2013? 2013.
Yeah, it had to be 2013. Or maybe 2014.
Maybe.
Wow.
It didn't feel like it was that
no, it was ago. 14. It had to be 14. It had to be 14. The project came out in 14. Yeah. So the video was 14. It might have been 15. Now that I'm thinking about it, it may have been the project might have been 14. And yeah, because 13 I did the R&B project.
But if you did your research and you've seen the people that were in the video, there's no way you can reference that to like some gang beef or some street beef.
Even just
I'm in the video.
Yeah, you got Bub in there.
Corey Brown's in the video.
Yeah.
Lamont Thomas is in the video.
Come on, Calvin Jones.
There's a candlelight vigil.
Candlelight visual.
Big
Knockout,
Rude
Chip,
Boy.
yeah,
Come on, man.
Nah, shouts to you, man, for going out there and then speaking up on that. That's
No
positive
doubt,
shit right there. Shouts to you.
Got to, man. We gotta use our voice, man.
Absolutely.
Word.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Hell, man, what's up, man? Where
So,
the music at, man?
Oh, the music is there, man. It's cooking up slow. I will say that there's gonna be a lot more. I'll probably have like maybe 3 releases this year, just to catch up for lost time. You know what I'm saying? So
just to put it out.
yeah,
there.
it's there.
Who was he talking about that dropped like 3 joints last year?
Styles.
Yeah.
Styles don't be playing.
Yeah.
He got that Rock Nation down.
What do you
3
think
of his own, I think, right? 3 of his own, and then that one with Davey.
What do you think of? So when Styles who was on there? Was they on Revolt? They was talking about like today's, like almost as comparison to like the NBA, right? Guys are too nice to each other. Like everybody wants to be a friend.
Damn, they about to steal my fuck.
And he was like, "Yo, if I go in the booth," he said, "I'm going to like." My shit's gonna be way harder than yours. Mm-hmm. Like this, the rap competitive nature, not like beefing, but like this competitive nature. I'm not in the studios. Do you see that still? Like if you doing like if you did a joint together, would you be like, oh shit, nah?
Always. Yeah. That's why me and Cam is tight like that. Because Cam would come in the studio, he'll play a record. I'd be like, I gotta get on my shit. I play a record. Cam's like, I'm gonna come do it 2 more. Like so, it's it's competitive, but it's still We want to make the best that we can make, and we gotta push each other. And me and Kim been doing that forever.
That's facts. And I think I'll give a conversation some insight to it. A conversation one of my young brothers had with me, and he's known me for rapping for like 10, 15 years. And he said, Cam, when you started going more into the R&B driven, melody driven music, he said it made me more comfortable in wanting to do music with you and wanting to support you. Because sometimes the content that comes out, because what Hil was saying is competitiveness, just creatively pushing each other. Yeah, right. I think what Styles was saying is like, yo, I'm gonna put you, lyrically, being so aggressive. So I think that style of music works for people that are in that genre, like someone like a Flawless. Like Flawless rap his ass off, aggressive. Like you feel like you're doing push-ups when you listen to Flawless. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when he's doing that, like he got a record with Jadakiss, where they're going bar for bar, like, and that's his genre of music. That's what he does. When I listen to D Gomes, that's not my goal in listening to his music. His competitiveness comes in his energy and his style. So I think there's different competitive natures in it, but that Styles P, man, that them bars, they're always gonna be there, man. That I think is far and few between in this generation, because the competitiveness does come out differently. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It's classic stuff. It's like rap battle's still alive. They're still doing that. But I think the mainstream has made a turn for the better to focus more on music, stuff that sounds good, opposed to like, because Styles is like, yo, you could turn off the beat right now and I'll kill you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, I fuck with that, Styles. I feel you, but we
gotta make a record.
Yeah, we trying to.
Nah.
Do this.
You think you're nice?
Yeah.
It's almost like a one-on-one checkup.
Yeah. Like we in practice right now,
bro. Check up. I don't want to run no plays, coach.
Facts. So I think we can be competitive without that tone to it, unless that's what you're into. That's like that Kobe tone, opposed to like a LeBron. LeBron's competitiveness is involving everybody and getting everybody to be.
Let's be nice
best.
together.
Yeah. Which might hurt in a couple finals, but everybody got their style.
Have either one of y'all sent each other like a track, and then the other one, you heard the other one spit, was like, now I gotta change my whole shit.
Yeah, all the time. Can't say some shit. I'm like, yeah, you got that. You got that. I'm good.
All right, cool, bro. Glad we're friends.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, sure. I'm glad you my nigga.
It's my nigga, yeah. That's my dog. Like Smokey.
A lot of times with me and Cam, it's like our styles are different, so really it's more of a compliment than anything. You know what I'm saying? Like rapper of the year. Like we did that shit on the fly. Like the original beat wasn't even that beat. Like we did it that night in the studio, and it was just like, I was like, Cam, I need you on this album somehow. And we changed the whole beat around. I put Cam on the melody and just let Cam just spit. I was like, Cam, I need you to be Cam, and it kind of just worked. So I mean, I think in more of a, it's finding ways to make shit work as opposed to really be on some competitive shit in terms of bar for bar. We could do that all the time, like that's easy. But like I think the good thing about me and Cam is we want to make good songs. We want to make good records, something that you can play as opposed to that was a cool verse and then you never play it again. I don't want that. Right. I want you to be able to play that 4 years from now and be like, yo, that joint was crazy.
Yeah, it's a dope song.
Yeah,
I
think that's to with outside Providence. I think it's a good thing when people like, yo, when you putting out the next joint.
I definitely take it as a compliment. And I when I made that, I was like, yo, I want to make a body of work that can stand alone and stand the test of time, as opposed to like hot right now. Like when that came out, I felt like the songs that were on that project weren't things that were out at that time. So I kind of feel like it was its own sound.
Yeah, it is its own sound. It sounds like, at least the beginning of the project, the first 3 songs sound very motivating.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It sound very. I wanted to say fun at first, but it's more like a more motivating. You know what I'm saying? More like, yo, this is like. I've been fascinated, like with this podcast. I've been able to meet a lot of artists. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I have been fascinated with the Rhode Island sound.
Word.
Like real talk. Like before this podcast, like before June, I was probably in the dark. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm in the crib, dog. I don't go outside. You know what I mean? I feel you. I'm in the crib, B. So before June, like after this podcast it's been the sound is crazy. Like I listen to you. Like I've been listening to you ever since maybe Sunday in the gym, right? So I've been to the gym 3 times. I've been listening to it because whenever we have with John, I just wanted to make sure that like if I have it on my phone, if Bub hits me and it's like, yo, listen to this. As soon as I get it on my phone, if it's music, I'm in the gym, I'm putting it on. That's all I'm rocking with until the day of the podcast. Word. You know what I'm saying? So when I've been listening to your albums, man, it's just like, yo, this is not only is there a Rhode Island sound, because you can hear the Rhode Island sound, but there's dope fucking music here, man. Like we got some dope fucking music, man.
100%. I mean, and it goes back even to John B and Jeffrey Osborne. Like Cam was the one I was kind of like really like pushing that, like, and I had to go back and do research. Like, damn, I didn't know these dudes was from out here.
Right. I should have
been
in
this area. So it's really like, I think we understand the legacy and stuff like that, and trying to carry that on and create bodies of work as opposed to just making like hot records. That's what kind of separates you.
Yeah, I've been fortunate because Jeffrey Osborne's my great uncle.
That's crazy.
And so
I need a feature, man. I need a feature.
I've been fortunate to be around music almost all my life. Mike Nice is my cousin.
Oh, wow.
Big leagues, you know what I mean? And so to go down to being Sonny and Dennis's when it was popping, to be next to him, that's where he started his DJ career, because his father and my great uncle owned Sonny and Dennis's, and so that's why I just said, damn, I should have been an artist. But I can't sing the shit. They would have had to be producing, because I can't rap either.
Yeah, you could have been like, what was the light skinned dude in B2K? Was that Lil Fizz? He was just there. He was there.
He didn't do anything.
No, he didn't sing. He didn't rap. He was just in the videos.
He was just there for motivation.
You could have did that. The girls would have been like, "Who's that one right there?" You know what I'm saying?
I'm tweeting that. He called me Lil Fizz.
As long as the 2-step is sturdy, like niggas.
He couldn't dance. He could do nothing. But he was in all the videos. He performed at all the songs.
Yo, that's kind of crazy, because I'm thinking about it. I remember there being one nigga I did not know what he did. Like I didn't know what he brought to the group.
Yeah, I was him. I'm sorry for calling you. I didn't call you Lil Fizz.
Coda and pursue his
facts.
Yeah, because you wanted to be Lil Fizz in the back. I'm just ask you what you do. You say.
I mean, you're the one who said you couldn't rap. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
You put yourself in the box.
Yeah, you put it in
no
there.
help to help you.
Could have been manager or something.
You could have lied to us and said you was nice.
Like, I got a mean 2-step. Like you could have been the choreographer. He gonna say, I can't dance, rap, or sing, but I should have been an artist. I don't know what to tell you.
You're right. I set myself up there. But nah, like those times and watching. Even talking about the DJ scene, like to now see, like, you know, Cam now DJing, like for me, is dope. Like to see Diamond, to see people like that. Like for me,
Tough.
when I was with Half Pint I was inspired by Kari, by Knockout, and his ambition. Like he was coming to open up for Half at Finnegan's. Like, yo, let me get a set. No problem. Take it. Yep. So you can do the whole night if you want to. And he told me, he was like, yo, I'm going to be on the radio real soon. It was Hot 106 then, right?
Yeah.
When he got on there. He was on Hot 106. Like to see his grind and to get where he's at and to see a lot of other DJs be able to do like Jay, Where's Nasty, like to see like these dudes like come up. And do it big. Like it ain't on no small scale. Like Diamond ain't doing no little house parties. Like he's in the clubs.
Yeah, he's putting that work.
Young boy too.
He was in the club.
Underage,
rocking just.
Underage, and it's not just.
He's of age now. So
yeah. Nah.
He's of age now.
I met him when he was in high school, and so I met him when he was taking pictures. He was going around with a camera taking pictures, and so, but you only hear about these famous DJs like Just. I mean, he's older now, but like you almost think like people just have this mindset like nobody from Providence can make it, and making it ain't always making it out of Providence. Like being a big name in Providence should mean something.
Absolutely,
it shouldn't mean you're famous because all of a sudden you DJ'd a party in New York. Or you DJ the party down south. Nah, you DJ everywhere in Providence. Ain't nobody doing. Ain't no young boy doing what Diamond's doing right now.
But I look at it on some shit like I feel like we got enough to compete with anybody. It's just, the people who are doing the work believe it. It's, the people who are receiving the work that gotta believe it and tell other people. That's really what it is. Because I feel like a lot of times the advantage being from Rhode Island is you kind of overcompensate for things. So, you may have to, work a little harder than the next person. But when you look at it like, bar for bar, we're rappers that we could compete with other people. DJs, like, we could rock. Like this, we throw parties and people from other cities are like, damn, I got to come to Rhode Island.
People always came to Rhode Island, especially for parties. Definitely for the club scene.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember we had a Daytro and a girl had flew up from Florida to come to Daytro. Didn't even know nobody. Just flew up.
Crazy.
It was gonna have a good time
because she saw it on Twitter.
And nobody would have been like, "Yo, she's from Florida." Like she would have just blended in and would have had a good time. Like she's from here.
She's like, I just came to rock out. Like, had a good time. I was like, more power to you.
I gotta get these guys to day trill this shit.
Oh, facts.
Yeah, man.
You're not sitting in the house for 2019. Not when day trill pop up.
Man, tell me what I'm gonna do.
You don't want to be like, yo, Larry's video was hilarious. Outside of day trill.
Larry's a legend.
Did you see what I put up?
That was him.
It's crazy. I had to G-check him on that Lakers shit, but he's a funny dude. Man.
Larry's hilarious.
He came on here and roasted me, man. I didn't like that shit.
Oh, 2 hours.
Yeah.
2 hours. I don't want to what do y'all think about the whole short album stuff, like seven album EPs or whatever?
He don't like EPs.
Well, talk to him about it. He was doing
I
it.
keep it a stack. I think I was the first one to do it because Outside Providence is 7 records.
It is.
Facts, man.
So like I like the short, concise listen. A lot of times you get a lot of filler. And
Kanye stole your shit, cuz.
He's
nah.
I take it as a compliment.
Yeah.
But I've always been one to, I cut the fat out. I don't really like filler records. I don't feel like there's any space for it. There's always been those.
In your sense, though, I'm not even gonna cut you off, but your songs are like 4 or 5 minutes long.
Yeah.
Like Pusha T's like 2 minutes. It was like a 22-minute album.
But that was he took a lot of stuff out, man.
It still was a great album, but
that was influenced more by Kanye, but like
just like what's it called? Like Nas' album. Like that project that Nas did, he kind of took verses from the album that was actually done and put it on that Kanye album. So like if you're Echo on Poison, like that's what his album is going to sound like.
I can't wait.
You hit it to me, but that's what it's going to sound like.
Yeah,
I heard it.
Out of control.
So Kanye definitely shorthanded all of them. I'll say
that. I wasn't with it. Like when the whole Kanye thing popped off and he was doing the 7 joints or whatever. I wasn't really with it. I think I'm high with it now.
I love the
albums. I like it to be able to lock in with somebody and create one thing. Like I think that's dope as opposed to being all over the place. Because at least it was like one cohesive sound,
right?
As opposed
the way
to
that you just phrased it, it makes more sense. I didn't like the people saying that it's because of attention spans, which I understand because I know that in 2019, 2018, attention spans are very short.
Yeah. Like look at 444. Like 444 is like an extended version of the shit Ye was doing. And it's a short project, but it's one producer and it's one sound. Like it's not all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Right.
I think that's why they did 444 to wake Ye's ass up. To be honest, because No ID did the whole project, and I know if Hov's going to Kanye West's mentor, the person who found him to make a full album, top to bottom, all soul sample. There's a lot on there that got to be for Ye, and he had to hear it and be like, "Wow, this makes me feel like when I was a kid studying No ID and learning how to chop samples." And then that sends him back into, I guess there's ways, Hov knows ways to try and wake him up without just telling him, "Yo, bro, you tripping. You need to wake up." And I think that was one of the ways, and it came out really good albums. I thought all those albums were really good. My least favorite was the Kanye album. I feel like he sacrificed his for it, And the one way that I heard Pusha T explain it was like, yo, I know Kanye knew everybody's not going to listen to all the songs, but he was like, everybody's on Spotify, Apple Music, something like that. If you take your favorite 2 or 3 from each of those projects, you have another good music album. And there's 2 or 3 great songs on every project. It's just like all 7 may have not been all A1, but there's gems.
Stuff there.
Yeah, magic in there.
Definitely. My boy Reem was talking about. He came through Christmas and he was talking about if you sum up all of the songs that you like and even love in 2018, you're gonna come up with at least 3 Kanye produced songs in 2018.
Yeah, I can see that.
On the top of your list.
I can see that. Because I could already name 4 off Daytona, so the battle is won.
You was right. Hil said you was right. Yeah.
Because I got
Cam's like
Tiana Taylor, like this.
Tiana had like 3 or 4 on her shit too.
My top for the year. Like we're talking about the year. That's the whole day. And
like songs that you like. Songs that you like under the year. Yeah, you're gonna have at least.
He for sure. And I mean, he did 5 albums. He better have at least 3. Yeah.
Kanye.
Yeah,
exactly.
And we was, how we've been asking people what's their top albums, top songs.
Yeah, I was gonna say how we gonna do that.
But I seen. So Guru put out something. He said everybody's list should say I didn't hear everything.
Nobody ever hears everything.
But I think he's trying to reference because you start seeing at the end of the year all these top albums of the year,
But it should all be subjective.
Yeah, it's always right.
What is your top?
I seen Flex's. Somebody put on Flex, comment on Flex. Oh, you tripping on our side because he didn't have Nipsey on his top.
He had Drake number 2.
Yeah,
Flex.
He didn't have Nipsey on it.
They buried the hatchet.
Meek made him apologize. You didn't see Meek made him apologize.
Wow. Meek made Flex apologize?
Made him apologize.
Wow.
He didn't have Nipsey.
Progress.
That's crazy.
And the consensus from everything I seen, Nipsey was on it.
He's a New York DJ. So I mean, why would he have Nipsey on there? Like I understand.
And that's the comment said, "Oh, you don't fuck with our side."
I'm sure he had an album on that list that only people in New York listen to.
Yeah.
He had 6ix9ine on it.
Yeah, so
there you go.
Wow.
I know. A Cali DJ would have 6ix9ine on their list.
Okay, New York.
Yeah.
All right.
So home team. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not to have Nipsey.
Because the thing is, and that's the crazy thing about like New York is like it's still a local scene, but at the end of the day, like people think New York represents everything when it doesn't.
It really doesn't. It just did at a certain era when that was the only place music was coming out of.
Exactly.
Like, coming up in high school, the Ron G mixtapes and all those types of guys, because you wanted to hear the newest music from New York.
Yeah.
Right. You want to hear the hottest rapper from New York, get a Ron G mixtape. Yeah, and all those guys that were dropping just new music. They wasn't even really doing no blends, nothing. It was just
straight
music. Clue tapes, but they classics though. Like you're like I mean you wanted to go buy those CDs, but I think like for blends, like coming around, like blends were crazy to me anyway. Just growing up in the era in the '90s where you had Lefty. I remember Lefty DJ one of my middle school parties. So Lefty's been doing it for a long time.
So I know y'all had a good budget.
but this is like 90. This might be like 90. 92, 93, and he was a young boy then. So he probably did it for the low. Yeah, I mean, I'm just popping on the scene. You had Big Leg, Mike Nice, all those Chronic Blends, Smoked Outs. Yeah, I mean, you had Fred the Great. Like there's legendary DJs around here. Like
speaking of Lefty, I remember Lefty DJing. It had to be 97, at least 97. When it was Buckland Western Midnight League, and he used to DJ, and to see that, I gotta be in '97. I'm 8.
I was 17.
You know what I'm saying? So that's crazy that I remember that. But he's an iconic person. When you see him once, you're gonna remember that for the rest of your life. So that's always been an imprint in my mind. Running around with Kai, while people was balling. We just the youngins outside running around, all the cars all around, and then just seeing Lefty in the corner DJing. Like that's iconic stuff, man. He's definitely a legend, man.
And I don't think we take time to appreciate like the Midnight League. There was a lot of violence incorporated with that in the 90s, but like the Midnight League was the shit. Yeah. Like you really got dressed. Yo, where you going later?
Midnight League. That's how Dykeman is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And so I'm going home, take a shower, get dressed, going to Midnight League.
That's the culture, man.
To watch basketball. Other people play basketball, but it was just a vibe. It was like just being around people, and I think we get treated as being biased because we say stay silent a lot on here, but like the vibe that is brought, right? Come from Florida.
You know the vibes?
Yeah. The vibes. Like
I always wanted to say that shit.
It just
that's my first time saying that
shit. But it's just
you can say all your first time.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
But I think there's so much history here in Providence that's not talked about. Joe Vaughn's, like what it was to me anyway, to want to be 21 to go to Joe Vaughn's. Couldn't wait. Like,
bro, I was pissed when I got in there and nobody had suits on. I was like, nigga, I see all
He's like, yo, they changed the whole culture.
Ain't nobody got a goddamn
He's
bow
like, they
tie
changed the
on.
whole culture. Like, yeah, so like, for me, that was like grown man status. Go get some slacks, a button up, and some shoes.
Nigga was in there with hard bottoms.
Stacey Adams, you know what I'm saying? Like I was like, yo.
I had sneakers on myself, but I was like, ain't nobody like really dressed up all crazy.
And then but like those types of things, I think are so iconic in the city and are not talked about and appreciated enough.
Yeah, but I mean, not to cut you off, but I think the great thing about Stay Silent is all of us appreciate and understand the history and how it's important to the future.
Yeah.
So not letting that story die is very important.
Yeah. Facts, man. The first Daytro flyer had, outside of us, it had Buddy Cianci, the Big Blue Bug. What else was on there? Dell's Lemonade. Like this. So
yeah, like
the
making
idea,
sure that we're driving home, like this is our shit. It's homegrown shit. You know what I mean?
No, that's facts. You see Hil selling PVD jerseys. I got the Providence shirts. Yeah. Jay got the PVD hats, PVD tees.
You gotta update those, though. Everything's sold out.
Yeah, it's a good problem.
It's definitely a good problem.
It's like it's music right now. You're gonna have to wait. You're gonna have to wait.
I see why you're not making music.
Yo, I was like, let me go. Did I miss some music that Hil didn't put out? Like when I asked you, I was like, yo, let me. Nah, I'm not bugging. He hasn't put out nothing new. I was like, damn, I thought
I've been getting cussed out for like the past like.
Did he retire on me? Wait, if he retired, he can't come on the podcast.
But, yo, I'd rather be cussed out than people like, oh, you still do music? That's crazy.
A lot of people got
that hurts. That hurts to hear that. Yeah. I've seen people be asked that question like, oh, you still doing music? That's what's up. Like, damn. Pains, man. That shit hurt your heart.
That's funny, man. That's funny. What y'all looking forward to in this the new year? Yeah, what y'all looking forward to, man? What's
Lakers making the playoffs? Yeah,
Lakers making the playoffs.
The Lakers fan.
Zoom in on that, man. Zoom in on that.
Lakers making the playoffs.
Gang.
I'll be excited.
You can't tell me LeBron ain't the GOAT.
No.
I think he is. I think he has. I think he's surpassed
stuff like that, but dog. Michael Jordan's done stuff on the basketball court I have never seen LeBron done.
Yo, but I was watching LeBron highlights last night, bro.
I hear you, but
he's something different. He's a different monster.
No, but the fact is, we about to go into a whole other.
Yeah, so
I want to ask one question. Like, so if you was, I can't even ask that question because
everybody would rather play with LeBron.
You as a player,
yeah.
Who would you rather play with? You.
Well, the way I'll play with Mike. I'm a point guard, so.
Like, that is true.
I don't need all that shit.
I
set Mike up all day. Like, I have 27 assists. Crazy.
So what I appreciate about the debate or the argument, or however you want to call it, my father, who is 65, says LeBron.
Yeah. Well, who was his team when he grew up? When he was growing up?
He's a Sixers fan.
There you go.
So he don't like Mike.
He don't like Mike.
No,
Mike was stopping the chips.
But for me, from watching games with him, he's a fan. He's a fan of Mike, because he was rooting for the Bulls when they was going through their run. He's like this. He said, "There's nobody like LeBron."
Oh, I think LeBron's the best athlete.
He's the best athlete of all time.
100%.
So it's crazy that we could say he's the best athlete of all time, but he's not the best. That's disrespectful. We're fighting.
I don't think it is.
I think we're fighting the idea of like how great Mike was, because we still wear his sneakers today. So the fact that he's still here, like he's still a part of the league, he's not disappeared like a lot
Colin
of players.
Cowherd said Cowherd, however you pronounce his last name, said that. He said because he's like, young people who never seen Mike play. And watching it on YouTube is not the same.
No, it's not the same.
But it was when Mike
but it's
played.
Of sneakers.
It was must see TV.
Like, is it the sneakers or is it like the shock value? Like
no, I'm talking about for young people. Like you still have, like you still have that. Like yo, I'm getting those Jordans.
Yeah, word. Yeah. He's still
like
very much.
When I was coming up, the Jordans weren't to keep as a fashionable sneaker. It was get the Jordans to play ball in. I played ball in all my Jordans coming up. You know what I'm saying? And so I think, but now, I had a kid play basketball in some running sneakers.
Because he didn't want to wear his Jordans.
He had his Jordans on. I said, yo, hooping those. He had the whole team get on me. Yo, you heard what Coach Buck said? Yo, he was bugging. They're like, yo, Coach, you're wilding. I'm like, why? Like, you're going to play ball in running sneakers? It hurt yourself?
That's crazy.
I wanted to be like, you ain't that good anyway, but like.
Hopefully you're not listening to bro.
He knows we not.
Yeah, I got one more argument for this LeBron thing, and I don't think I've heard this yet. Not on ESPN. I haven't heard anybody say it. When Jordan was out, right, there were rules in play that didn't allow people to team up to beat Jordan. If LeBron faced head-to-head against the people that he was supposed to face, and people weren't like, yo, I'm going to go on this team to beat LeBron, he would be at 5 or 6 rings right now, and he'd have another 2 or 3 lined up, and he would have more rings than Michael Jordan if people didn't have that freedom to say, yo, I know you can't beat LeBron, and I can't beat LeBron, but if we come on together to get on the team together, he can't beat us. If they would have did that in the 90s, Mike would have lost. Mike was playing against other teams that had one Hall of Famer, one star, and then a bunch of solid players. And if it's that one Michael Jordan against that one other great player, Mike's going to win every time. And if you go LeBron against that one over player, especially LeBron after 2012-13, there's nobody matching.
We got to take away the ring argument. Can't be the only argument.
I hate that argument.
Like if you play sports, you understand championships. Wins are team efforts. Point blank. Because if that, like people always throw out the conversation rings. If that's the point, Bill Russell was the greatest basketball player ever.
Yeah, right. Always better than all of them.
Right. So yeah, that's what. So like, but now just like break down the player itself. Right. The player itself, for me, like the Golden State Warriors are a symptom of LeBron.
Yeah, they had to get together to beat LeBron.
They're a symptom. He beat the 73-9 Warriors. And people be like, "Oh, it was Kyrie." Okay, really?
Yeah.
So then, and I'm a Scottie Pippen fan, so it was Scottie. Then it wasn't Mike, right? And so like, but we can't also take out that LeBron's coached all these teams. Every championship he won, he basically coached those teams.
Never played for a real coach.
Phil Jackson is arguably one of the greatest coaches of all time.
I can hear you with that. But when has he not had a Hall of Famer like elite talent on his team? Like Shaq,
I agree with
Kobe, Jordan. Like,
but just think about the egos you have to manage.
Oh, of course, yeah, that's cool.
You got to manage grown ass men's egos. It ain't easy.
I hear you. So
young kids managing, I manage young kids' egos, and that shit's hard as a motherfucker.
Yeah, but that doesn't make you the best coach if you can manage egos. I mean, if we talking X's.
So why is he the best? Why is he arguably one of the best coaches? Because of his rings, right?
If he didn't have 11 rings, that wouldn't be a conversation, though. I think Pop is the best coach of all time.
I agree.
But he has them.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
But just how we just said.
So rings don't matter.
We don't consider.
So rings don't matter.
I never said rings matter.
Nah, but that's usually the argument. 6 for 6.
But
game sevens.
I think Pop is the best coach ever.
I like Coach Pop.
He'll take a mechanic and that nigga average 10.
Facts.
Average 10, 5, and 7.
I like Coach Pop. I like the consistency overall.
Yep. Like, that's incredible.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know what I mean?
Coach Pop and probably Bill Belichick are the same people.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
There's consistency, winning playoffs all the time.
And
winning.
And it's not sexy. It's just, we
so,
got to get our guys.
So
to make it happen.
LeBron, consistency, winning. 8 straight finals. Like, that got to be admired. Like, you can't take that away.
I think it's 1A, 1B. That's what I think it is.
I'll take that.
But
it's definitely 1A, 1B.
In 5 years. In 5 years,
LeBron retires and we look back.
He's gonna be so far ahead. He's gonna be so far ahead. It's not even gonna be the fact that we're arguing about it, and he still got another 5 to 7 left in him.
He just signed a 4-year deal, and we talk about better than Jordan. So
it's getting there. It's
100%.
Because you're a Laker guy.
Yeah, 100%.
He's better than Kobe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he has.
I'll tell you what, like. As a Laker fan, I'm
a Laker fan.
I'm not even a crazy Kobe guy. Like, I just so happens he was on my team. But like, if he didn't play for the Lakers, I wouldn't be like, yo, Kobe's this, Kobe's that.
Who's the greatest Laker of all time?
Magic.
Did you guys rehearse this?
Yo, if you're a Laker fan, like, you just know what it is. You know what I'm saying? You know the vibes. You feel me? You know the vibes, man.
So I guess you got to finish answering the question. You said 2019, right?
You said Lakers. Lakers. More music.
Okay, I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yeah, so that'll be fun.
You guys got to follow after this one.
Yeah, for sure.
I hide. I'm not a social media guy. That's why.
I got you.
I'm the social media guy.
He's he handles everything.
Yeah. All right. Probably I'm doing a lot more clothes this year. So like. I made the jacket, like, so I'm gonna start rocking on my own shit. Too, so more gear, just more creative shit, more events, simple shit like that.
Mm-hmm. Do you see like your clothing, your brand being expensive?
I feel like people think it's expensive because it's like local stuff, but
quality, man.
But because I know my product.
Yeah.
And, if everybody know me, like, I'm a jersey guy, I'm a sportswear guy, so I source all my materials, so I know what the market value is. So I price my shit a little bit right under it. So it's not gonna be Mitchell & Ness, but it's gonna be right under Mitchell & Ness in between the replica shit. But it's gonna be Mitchell & Ness quality. Yeah. So that's where I feel confident with that price, and I'm not forcing nobody to buy.
Because I think that comes with it, right? That local tag, like like that. Shout out to Oliver.
That's my dog.
Mm-hmm. Like I told him. I said, I can't afford it.
Set your price and live your life, my nigga.
Mm-hmm. Like his t-shirt, what's his t-shirt, like 100 and change?
No, it's like 2.
Yeah. Even that.
It's like
even
260.
That. Yeah, a t-shirt. Yeah. I said, Oliver, love you to death.
Yo, for real.
No, he's selling them. Yeah, like, and I said, yo, don't aim low. Like, dudes is out here. If they can pay for Gucci, they can pay for your t-shirt. If they want to support. You know what I'm saying?
And
logo. I said she high.
She was wearing it.
Yeah.
So
and he's put himself around those type of, like B.I. Brandon Ingram's his boy. Like so like Rick's his boy. Like being around that market. Boom. Yeah. If you follow him on his page, Oliver, like you'll see all kind of celebrities and everything.
I want to say all three Migos.
The koi fish. He had a koi fish silk button down.
Yeah, I got that joint.
He didn't make it in big men sizes, so I could.
I got it.
I'd be on him.
Fit me, but I got it.
I'd be on him about that.
Like,
come on, oh.
Yeah, man.
Migos.
Koi fish.
They had it.
Yeah. All 3 Migos rock your shit.
Wow.
Like so.
They be sleeping on my boy Oso, man. Oso getting it popping. Shouts out to O.
You know what it is? Because Oso has that personality where it's like, you're like, damn, like Get out of here. Like, but Oso's a cool dude.
But that's also because you knew O from back in the day. He acts different. He's more
different
mature.
now. He's more mature now.
Grown up. But back in the day, Oliver, if he's on your team playing basketball, he's going to shoot from half court and make you lose to make you mad. So who wants to play with him?
Because
that guy.
Oliver felt like, nah, I'm nice.
Yeah, I got this.
He got hops. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hey, man.
Shout out to O, man.
Speak it into existence.
So like I only asked that question because I think some people like there's no more. Certain people do have it, but like if a T-shirt is $35, man, they'll be like, "Yep, damn, man." Like,
And it's funny because a lot of people will be like, "Yo, you got that Buddy T-shirt?" And I have to correct them like, "No, it's a jersey. Like it's tackle twill.
back.
You know what I'm saying? It's double stitched patches. You get dice with it. You get a card, like collective card. Like it's a package. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I'm just like I pull up to your house and put out the car window here. Where's my money? Cash at me. Like we run a business here. So.
Which is dope. Dope. It should be appreciated.
Yep.
What about you?
Serious. Definitely more music. I would say last year was an off year. I put an album out 2017.
No off year for you, man.
Only
That
put out 30 songs.
Yeah.
I only put out 2 songs last year. I put out Swervin' in April, and I put out Timing in July.
But it wasn't an off year. Like you was doing.
Well, it's not an album yet. No, I definitely did a lot of events. I definitely sold a lot of merch. I did the block party, which was really big. That was my first block party since Gallatin Street block parties.
Can we get one of those back, man?
Hey, we trying, man. We was trying to get it. Shout out to everybody on the block. You know, the reason it went away was because there was no kids. All the kids grew up, and then the kids who grew up was smoking and drinking, and there was nobody that was 5 to 15. So at that point, it's not a block party anymore. It's the homies on the corner. You know what I'm saying? Doing what they do.
Nintendo Switch. No.
But now everybody got nieces and nephews, and the people that were kids got kids, and you know, so it might be something that could happen. But it is a different neighborhood, so you know. But trying to carry the legacy on with the block party, the Prince of PVD joint. But next year I want to continue to do all of that, but then add music into the mix, get this new album out. A lot more videos. I haven't done a lot of visuals over the years. Like back 2010, 11, 12, I put out like 5, 6 videos between that time span. That was before people was even doing videos, you know, at that point. But I want to get back to that and just stay active creatively, man, because I've made a lot of records. 18 made a lot of years. So going into 19, I'm excited to put the stuff out, you know, and get some feedback, man. Some more merch, you know. We try to cover all the bases, you know. We ain't trying to just rap. We trying to do it all. Got some more Providence pins coming. Yeah, man. I don't know. It's more dope shit,
That's
man.
what's up, man. Any way we can support, anything we could do to support, anytime you guys want to come back on here to get, you know, anything out, let us know. Absolutely.
For sure. I had a good time, man.
The Prince of PVD and the King of PVD.
I was gonna say something. I was gonna leave it. You know what? I told myself to leave it alone mid-episode. I was like, just leave it alone.
It ain't going nowhere.
Royalty. I was gonna say royalties in the building and Hil Holla.
Let's get it.
I'm waiting for somebody to challenge it.
Yo,
man.
so what do we do now? What do we do now? It's 2019. Because what we used to do, right, when we had guests on,
I don't know.
is we used to have like, what's your top 5 albums?
I do have a question though that I do want to address. Ask you.
Yeah, absolutely.
We could still do that.
What are your thoughts on the whole Travis Scott and Super Bowl thing? Do you have any thoughts? And people trying to, and Meek Mill and Jay-Z trying to stop him from doing it. Yeah.
Yo, man, I see both sides, but the Super Bowl is a once in a lifetime thing. So I mean, I understand, and you know, Travis, I feel like he probably isn't somebody who's, you know, good on political commentary. So go in, do your job, and get out of there.
I wouldn't be mad that if he did it.
There's still brothers playing in a football game. You know what I mean? So it's not like
what happened to the whole wave where dudes were supposed to stop watching football. Like,
Like, I want my fantasy leagues.
They was like, let me check, right? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I understand. You know, the thing is, it's tough because they got to understand that Travis doesn't have the luxury to be Jay-Z and turn down the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Who knows what happens to Travis next year? You know what I mean? Yeah. What if he Kylie leaves him and, you know, everything shits the bed? You don't have those looks anymore. So you know, it's a tough situation, but I see both sides. But I'm not gonna be like, I don't fuck with Travis because he did the Super Bowl. It's the Super Bowl, my nigga.
I thought it's only the halftime. So.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there's definitely two sides to the coin, but he is married to Kylie, so and he has a baby with her. So you think Ye is deep being with them? It's a whole different level being deep with her, you know. So he's in that world. You know, they help manage his situation just like the mom helps manage Kanye's situation. So if you're a Kardashian, why wouldn't a Kardashian perform at the Super Bowl? Right. They don't have any, you know what I'm saying? Like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is. I think he publicly is. That's who Travis is now, you know, and I think we can accept that. And his music has no political stance, you know. That's not who he is. He doesn't really do interviews and talk about a bunch of stuff. I think he's into his art and he's into his personal life, and his personal life is being with a Kardashian. So, you know,
he hasn't started showing symptoms of being a Kardashian though. That's what I'm worried. That's what I'm scared of.
There's these they're happening in front of your eyes.
Are they?
Oh, happening in front of your eyes. We'll see 2019, because I think Travis, he's got to that Kanye graduation point where he's done everything he can in hip hop. So now the only place he can go is weird. You know, he can't really do more of the same. Like I think
You don't think he can release another dope album?
No, he can release another dope album, but I think Travis Scott, as we know him from before Astro World, going on here out, we're going to be like, yo, what's up with that haircut? Yo, what's going on with that tattoo? Yo, why would he say that? Yo, why would he wear that? Like, we're going to have a lot of those statements going in these next couple of years. But maybe that's just who he is, man. He never said he was some kid from the hood trying to put on for the hood in Houston. That was never his. He was always into his music, into his art. Right. Now, Ye might have said a bunch of shit and didn't live up to it, but Travis never said that stuff. Yeah. So he was always lit, always super druggy, always to himself. So I don't,
No, that's true. That's real true.
Yeah, it'll be all right. Shout out to Trav.
Shout out to Trav.
He's going through his growing pains.
That's funny you say that, man. I'm with Alex. I don't see it yet, man. I don't see it. But then again, I'm in the crib.
You see his last photo shoot? You didn't see his last photo.
I didn't see it.
Is there any artists you want to work with in 2019? Oh, you don't want to put that out there.
Ross. I definitely want to do a record with Ross.
I feel like Ross is gonna 2019. He's about to.
Oh, he about to put out some shit.
Crazy.
He gonna put out some shit. So yeah, I've always wanted to work with Ross. Lily Rain. I got a record with her, but I want another one. I can't even think like who else off top. Push, you know. I'm speaking everything he says.
Words.
So
do it.
I'm not saying no like regular shit. Like
Cam.
I want to get a record in with The Dream. I want to get a record in with T-Pain. And that's about it. I think I'm on path to have records with all the youth in Providence going into next year, whether it's production or it's a feature.
You're going to have your hand in a lot of shit.
A lot of shit. Hopefully I'm on everybody's project, you know. Hopefully I'm on Hill's project. Already on D's project. Already nothing on OSF's, but me and OSF will cook some stuff up. I got something with Rain for her project. A lot of stuff, man. Just trying to get out there, get active, collaborate, get more production. That's what I need to do next year, is get my production out. A lot of people don't even know I make beats, so that's gonna be exciting to let people hear that. And on my project, I produced a lot of joints, so they can hear some sounds.
That's what's up.
Swerving? You produced Swerving?
I did Swerving.
Okay, all right.
Produced, recorded, mixed. Nobody touched that track, so I'm proud of that. That's the first one that I did the full top to bottom. Proud of that. And it's classic TLC sample. So you still got the R&B classic, you know. It's good vibes.
You know the vibes?
Vibes.
Big vibes. Shout out Nino, man. Nino had one of the records of the year in PVD too, man. Vibes. Good joint.
Shout out Nino. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, how are we gonna do this, man? Like how do we do this now? Do we just
do a recap, man?
Do we just do 2018? Because it's the first.
It's 2 days.
It's only 2 days. It's only 2 days. Yeah. So we usually do this thing, right, where we ask our guests what are their top 5 if they can name them albums of 2018. Top 5. It doesn't matter. It could be any genre. it's just top 5 albums that hit you in 2018.
Yeah, I have to think what I even listen to.
I got you. I'll go not in order. I'll go The Dream. He just put out Sex Tape 1, 2 through 3. That shit is crazy.
I haven't gotten through all of it.
For the R&B,
it's like 40 songs.
That
right?
you know, that's what I'm into. So I love that shit. You know, I've been listening to it nonstop. And then from there, I really like Tiana Taylor's album. I thought that was really, really good. Travis Scott, really, really good. I really like the Drake album, but I'm a Drake fan, so I don't really get into that. It's not as good as the last one. I don't do that. It's a lot of good music, a lot of stuff that connected with me specifically, so that's in my top 5. And then I put Meek, Championships, man. That was Meek. That's the real. That's what we've been waiting for Fab to do for 10 years. That's what Meek just did.
I don't think we're getting that.
I've never heard that. That's very interesting. You're probably right.
I don't know if I've been waiting for Fab to do that.
I mean,
just because
he scratched the surface with the Soul Tape. He scratched the surface,
but I want him to combine
do the full
with his albums,
And that's what Meek did. That's what Meek did. He got some turn up. He got all the soul in there. He got classic Philly shit. Yeah. He got all types of stuff. The features at A1. Hov had a lot. But
I said like Meek's got it. Like he had. Like I almost felt like he had to.
He had all the momentum.
Like he had to. No, that's what I'm saying. Like
no, for sure.
End of the year, right? You had all this momentum. Everybody supporting you, going through you, and I felt like he was gonna go that way anyway. Like I felt like the conscious and
he was going
more conscious, but like
and going to jail, man, and being isolated and reading and learning and becoming a man. Because the last few times he got out of jail, he didn't stay sober. He jumped back on the perks. He jumped back on the lean. This is the first time he got out and was like, "Yo, if I don't straighten up, I'm not gonna get out again."
All the eyes was on him. Like,
all eyes on him.
Like,
definitely on him.
And he learned from that because all eyes were on him last time. And we saw how easy it was to
watching a black woman take my freedom. Almost made me hate my people.
Nice. Ouch. Talking that shit, man. Talking that shit. That's my 5.
Shit, I can't even think of 5. Like,
give me 3.
I got Daytona, Astro World, Playboy Cardi, Die Lit.
That Playboy Cardi is actually dope.
I love that album. A lot of people think I'm crazy, but I'm like, I love when an artist does them, as opposed to like, I don't want to venture out and try to be creative. Nah, he just did like some super Playboy Cardi shit, and he did it at the best level he could do it. And I love when niggas do that. I don't really listen to like too much new shit, just because when I'm working on music and shit like that. I don't want anything to, subconsciously.
He don't listen to
like
podcasts
that.
before our
podcast.
So, neither do
I really like all last year I was listening to old albums, old records, fucking the first Black Rob, Prodigy, all that. Like I don't really listen to too much new shit unless it's like artists I know. Like, all right, they got their own separate shit. Like, I fuck with them.
I'm surprised you mentioned Black Rob. That Black Rob album was out of fucking control.
Yeah, I was talking to my mans about that shit. I was like, yo, that's a classic album.
Yo,
I don't care what nobody
talk
says.
It is. Hell yeah.
Like, I went to the Bad Boy tour, and he had the biggest reaction out of everybody.
Wow.
Like, they literally played hits all night. Like, I couldn't believe how many hits
he has a lot of fucking
It was, Bad Boy was from the first song to the last song, all hits. But Whoa got the biggest reaction the whole night.
I dare you. Yo, Black Rob was out of control.
Oh, yeah.
Shit, dog.
Hell
that
yeah.
shit was crazy.
Whoa was.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, yeah.
I wasn't in the clubs. I was too young, but I know a lot of niggas got beat up to that song. I just got that energy. Like, niggas got stomped out to that song.
And it probably started from like a drinking.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Everybody going, whoa. They like, whoa, hold up. Whoa,
chief. Spilled your drink on me. Shut up.
Oh, shit. Real talk, man. Yo, so, thank y'all for doing this, man.
Absolutely.
Anytime we can help plug anything that y'all doing on social medias, hit up our plug master, PVD. But definitely, man, whenever y'all want to come through, and plug it up, please feel free to do so.
We got some projects on the way, so
and
we're gonna
please
pull
feel
up.
free to plug up anything at the clothing line, the music.
Word.
Plug up, man. Plug up.
Word up.
I'm taking it anyway, even if they don't.
Yo,
I'm stealing it from you.
Outside Providence is on all streaming platforms.
Very dope album.
Catch me on Instagram, Twitter, all that. Hil Holla, HILHOLLA, and then my business page, The Collector's Edition on Instagram. That's about it, really.
Word up. Campbell's, Prince of PVD, and all the joints.
Do you have two?
Yeah. One's Campbell's, one's Prince of PVD. Prince of PVD's kind of the bigger perspective. I feel like I could share my friends' art and events and different stuff. Campbell's is you're only gonna see my stuff on it, and not even the events. Just
Here we go.
Hey man, go into it, man. The city needs a lot more kings, a lot more leaders. So I'm glad to see people stepping up into the roles and not be afraid to say, "Yo, I'm the king of this," or "I'm the hottest doing this," or "I'm doing the dopest events," or whatever it is. People need to feel that way and stand up, and then people will stand up behind them and support them with it. Nobody thought Wayne was the greatest till he started saying it.
Jadakiss top 5 Dead or Alive.
Yeah,
100%.
Hove too. They
said that,
didn't
like,
want to let Hove be great, man.
Like
But
nobody challenged any of them. Whatever.
Or you.
Yo, if you can name a whack Jada verse, I give you $10.
Yeah,
Can't do it.
that's real.
You're right. Absolutely right. I can't
do it.
that's how I
Jadakiss never had a whack verse. Ever.
I was just thinking about that shit. Now that you mentioned it, now I'm thinking about it.
Though
Like,
the
I don't
beat will be whack, you be like, yo, Jada got off though. Yeah, that's how you know somebody really nice.
Even on his diss to Beanie, that beat was that those lyrics that he, god damn,
He made that beat sound fly.
yes.
That's flow, man.
That's crazy.
I was listening to his 50 disc the other day.
Spaz.
Oh my God, he
He
killed
Spaz,
them.
bro.
I know 50 was. I know 50
bad.
was.
Oh my God, that was
I
crazy.
want to fight this nigga right now.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It was funny too, because when you hear those locks, you like. How do you not just like, you know what? Let's just go. Let's just fight now.
Yeah. I can't say nothing else to
They
you.
were
So
so.
you gotta fight.
I mean,
they were
I think the
so
only
personal and
one
aggressive.
to a certain extent that could go to that extent just because of his lifestyle was Beanie. Anybody else is gonna lose.
Yeah.
You're gonna lose.
That's why they're
And
the
it's
Warlocks.
not even just Jada. Like it's Styles too.
Yeah.
So you be like,
But then you got Sheik. Sheik will smack the shit out you.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
You know how many times he said that?
she don't even rap. She
Yeah.
he ain't a move with his arms
You know how
crossed.
many times he said that? You know how many times he
you
said
know
that in a
his
verse? I smacked the shit out you.
And you know his bullets travel like a motherfucker. His bullets travel through everything.
Everything.
But it's crazy about Sheik because like
I
he
fucked
was-
with Sheik.
He was
my
writing a
guy.
lot of the early hooks
I
and all that
fucked with
stuff.
Sheik.
That was my
Yo,
guy.
That was my
Sheik-
favorite guy when they
Sheik's-
first came out.
Sheik's 2 albums are out of control. To me, classic albums. The first one's a classic album to me.
Jams. He had a joint called Good Love. That was crazy.
yeah,
That
tough,
Good
right? Yeah.
Love. That was hot. 'Cause he was making some
Sheik
hits.
was
I want to
alright.
say he wrote the hook for All About the Benjamins too.
I think he did.
I think I'm pretty sure I saw that somewhere.
Sheik, a lot of
So,
people don't give
people be
Sheik
sleeping,
credit,
man.
man.
Word.
There's a
Yo.
there's a reason you be around that long in
Yeah.
the music industry.
Absolutely, man. Yo, Sheik reminds me of like Jim, except Jim Jones. Jim Jones actually took that role seriously and blew up though. But but Sheik, you know what I'm saying? Because they both played the back for a little while. You know what I'm saying? And
Jim
then
Jones was directing videos,
Yeah,
all that.
yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
he was live, but he was playing the back almost. You know what I mean? And then Jim right now, like Jim's album last year, that was out of control.
Oh, I haven't got a chance to check it out, but I heard really good
Jones
things.
hard,
I saw it on a lot of lists,
Yeah.
like a lot of end of the year lists.
It's that Rock Nation, man. Hope's putting people on, man. You got the whole locks on there. Fat Joe, Jim Jones.
Yeah.
That's how you get, like, people don't understand, too. LeBron's touch on the NBA,
Oh yeah,
they're all under his management company.
bro,
like,
them owners are shook.
like, dog, like,
That's crazy.
like,
That's crazy.
Anthony Davis,
It's
you
signed him.
work for me.
Yeah,
Just come play with
Yeah,
us.
might as well come play.
no tampering. We signed his contract.
Yeah, like,
That's crazy.
But
Let me
why
negotiate
not?
this.
Who should?
do you
who
want me to
should
call Rich
do
right
that?
now? Do you want me I'll call Rich right now. Yeah,
Like I'm done with the even the fact that most of the refs are white and the analysts are white, and not the fact that they're white, but just they're not of the culture to understand the sport. Just like the A&Rs and the record execs in the music industry, they're not of the culture to understand what's going on. So they're putting people in position that are not even supposed to be in position. You know what I'm saying? So it just don't make sense. And I see that a lot with the NBA, man. I get frustrated.
But I like what LeBron said about the NFL. Because what LeBron's doing, you can't do in the NFL.
No,
you can't even get close to doing that.
Nah, bro, they'll cut you.
Yeah, you're getting cut.
You can cut for anything.
You want to do what?
Yeah.
You just see that shit at the bottom of the screen.
What if it was Tom Brady though? Like if it was Tom Brady, would Tom Brady have gotten cut, or would they have? Was it because it was the position where Kaepernick was that forced him into that space, and he's making a lot more money doing this than he was making playing football. So he's very fine. But I don't know. LeBron is LeBron. You can't do that to LeBron. That would cause a war. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, LeBron's the face of the league. The face of the league in NFL would never do that.
Who is the face of the league in NFL?
It's always a white guy. It's always a white quarterback. So you know what I'm saying?
Tom Brady?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll say that. Oh, him or Aaron Rodgers is one of the two.
Yeah, I was gonna say Aaron Rodgers.
Well, it's not gonna be no running back. It's not gonna be no wide receiver ever.
Right.
Like when could you ever sit and be like, yeah, he's really the face of the league?
Yeah.
Never.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's some mediocre white quarterback.
Montana.
Yeah.
Even Dan Marino when he was losing, he ain't win no Super Bowls.
Dan Marino was nice though.
Nah, he was nice. Peyton Manning.
Alex jumped on that.
No. I mean, I was a Bills fan, so I didn't like him. I couldn't like him.
You're a Bills fan?
Chill.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to hear that, man.
That's where we're not going by.
Oh, you're a Bills fan too? Damn.
How do you become a Bills fan? Like,
at least,
who was the player?
At least the thing is, I say, you know what I say about y'all niggas is, at least women know y'all niggas is loyal. Like, they know y'all never gonna leave them. Y'all still with the Bills.
I don't know what his story is. I have a story.
Who was the player that you liked that once played for the Bills?
If I see my team lose
I don't
4
even
straight
remember.
Super Bowls, I'm not rooting for them ever again.
I watched all 4. Thurman
all
Thomas,
4 too.
Andre Reed, Cornelius Bennett, Bruce Smith,
Don Beebe.
Don Beebe, Jim Kelly.
Kelly.
They had 6 Hall of Famers
Cornelius
on that
Bennett.
team.
That team was stacked, bro.
Yeah.
I remember the colors.
The no huddle
I remember
offense.
the place.
Yeah.
That's
they
who's doing the
started
no.
that, yeah.
Word.
But what happened was my father's a like you know how you follow that your father.
Yeah,
my father's a Cowboys guy.
Yeah.
I always went against my father.
Damn.
Went against him.
So he's like, hey, you see what we did there?
And then he had a Super Bowl party, but this is not the Bills' first Super Bowl. They didn't play against the Cowboys. So he had a Super Bowl party, and nobody in the house was a
Bills fan.
Yeah, all my older cousins are Steelers, 49ers. They're the old school football guys. Those teams that were winning in the 80s.
So they tortured you.
So I'm sitting in the house. I'm in the living room with them.
Yeah.
I'm not even a big football fan then.
Yeah, you just want to be
going with
antagonist.
The Bills. You know what? Yeah.
Fuck it, let's do it.
Lost. Next year. Yeah. Lost. Then we get to go play the Cowboys twice. I'm really like, yeah, Pops. Wanted to be like, fuck yeah, we're here. Lost. I'm like,
and they made you clean up the whole party.
Now pick up all the cups.
Pick up all that
and then
shit.
take your ass to bed.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I just stuck with him. Funny, like, so my uncle does the All-Star, the classic game, the softball game.
Yeah.
And so
they got to bring that back out here.
I don't.
It's not gonna happen. Everybody getting older, man. They're not taking them flights.
I did. I'm sitting in the locker room because I played in the game. I'm sitting in the locker room. I'm talking to this dude. He's like, "Yeah, I'm a pro football player," but I couldn't recognize him
because he got the helmets.
No, but I seen his face. But he's older now, so
yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, you know what I mean? You know, went to 4 Super Bowls, lost." I said, "Damn, man."
So my team lost 4 too.
I said, "Yeah." That's what I said. My team lost 4 Super Bowls too. He said, "Your team? We ain't play on that fucking team." I looked, said, "Oh shit, Cornelius Bennett." We took a picture
that's
together.
hilarious.
Yeah, we took a picture together and shit. But I was like, "Yo," he said, "Your team?
Y'all
play
got
on that motherfucker."
Y'all got the same amount of rings.
And so, but that game was like the highlight of my life because I was signing autographs.
Oh, because they thought you was.
Yo, the kids were running up to me. I'm like, yo, you don't want my autograph. Yeah. Like, yes, I do. So I'm playing it. I'm in the outfield. They're like, Carter, come here. I'm like, okay.
That's why you're the king.
Don't let me sign no autographs. I'm signing faces, everything. I'm signing shit you're not even supposed to sign.
I gave up my jersey. I gave up my hat. They was like, can we have it? The funniest, so we come out the back entrance. Like, so I'm feeling like a celeb. You know what I mean? There's lines outside. They got the barricades up. And I'm signing. So the mom was like, yo, get his autograph. Yeah. He knew. Like, that ain't no
He's like, Mom.
For what, Mom?
I was like, he's like, who are you? I was like,
put your whole life in perspective.
Little bastard. Just take the autograph.
Pop that bubble quick.
That's funny.
Little bastard out of it.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Bills, though.
That's too.
Shout outs to the Bills.
But I'm a Lakers and Duke fan, so I'm good.
All right, yeah. You be all right. Yeah.
Yo, but thank y'all, man. Thank y'all
Absolutely.
for doing that.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Yo, Cam responded in 10 minutes. That's a record.
That's crazy.
To my text.
That's crazy.
I'm saving that text.
Yeah, word.
Yeah.
Word.
I didn't even ask him how he was doing.
Yeah.
Let me get straight to the point.
Yep.
Podcast, 6 o'clock Wednesday. 200 Browns
accurate information. Yeah. Yo, we're getting better at this. We're getting better at
he
this.
He said bet.
I'll tell you my secret, man. My secret is my phone's off silent for the first time in like 6, 7, 8 years.
I believe it.
So now I actually see you when somebody texts me.
I believe it.
It was just different.
I think that's why, like, anytime me and Cam get together, we talk for like 2 hours.
Word up.
Yeah.
No bull. Like, yo, I'd be like,
No
oh
cap.
shit. Yeah, no cap.
I share a studio with Cam and would hit him like I'm outside and I gotta get in with a stranger. And Cam's locked in with his headphones. He's like, "Oh, you here? Yeah, I've been here for about an hour now."
I'm making an effort. 2019, man.
Hey, progress, right?
Yeah, that's why you said that, Bob. I didn't know why you said that. That's why you said that.
Yeah, I had to put context into.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Oh man, well nah, man. Thank y'all for doing this.
Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate y'all. Yo, Cam Bells, Hil Holla, we here. Growing Pain Podcast. Y'all know what to do. Comment, share, like, support.
Follow. It's 2019, new year.
Word.
Let's get it.
New year, new us? Nah, fuck that, right?
No.
Yeah,
Same us.
yeah.
New year, same bullshit.
Word.
Still on, you know the vibes. Still on it.
You know the vibes.
That's the theme of 2019.
You know the vibes.
Yeah, I'm retiring that now.
It's
All right,
done.
man. We out.
Peace.
Peace.